How white is that? My goodness. That's bright. I am still here. I'll have you know, Mr. Shiloh. You're not that cool, pal. You're not that cool, alright? You're not that cool, pal, Mr. Shiloh. How'd you do last week on picks compared to me? Can I trash talk you? Is it possible for me to make fun of you? We'll see. If you did worse than me, pal. Oh, you better not have done worse than me, pal. You better not have done worse than me, pal. You better not have. Let me duplicate this tab and see what happened last week. Let me see what happened last week. You already got your picks in. Okay, already got your picks in. Oh, you beat me. All right. Yeah, I can't trash talk. Last week doesn't count, though. It's the Apex, so it doesn't really count. Last week, does that really count? Does last week really count? You know? Does it really? Oh, you fell for Sutherland, too. I fell for Sutherland, too. It's fine. It's fine. Everyone fell for Sutherland. That's not wrong at all. And I chose Gianni Vasquez like an idiot. But you know what? Philo, you get to call me that. You get to call me that because I lost last week. You get to call me that. But this week, this card should be really good. Are we looking at the same card? Let's look over this. I'm doing live predictions, right? We're going to go over the card. Going to go over my predictions right now. There's a couple of bangers, like hidden bangers. Jeremiah Well might take Orblai. Orblai will probably bore this out, realistically. Or he'll just sub. Actually, I could just see him subbing out Wells pretty quick. I could see him subbing out Wells pretty quick. Neil Magny or Ramiz Brahimaj. I should have went perfect last week. I had Montana first round sub 5 minutes before picks locked and cowardly switched to the favorite. That's unfortunate, dude. You gotta pick. You gotta stay strong. That's the worst about doing picks, that you never, unless it's like a lock. Like I feel like what was a lock like last week? I feel like Alexa Thainara against Amanda Lemos was a pretty good lock. Most predictions, you're still second guessing yourself up until the fight, no matter who it is. Unless you're obviously me and you pick Sean Strickland to beat Chimaev. I never doubted that even once. Not even once. Luque Trayshawn Gore, Vicente Luque Trayshawn Gore actually could be pretty fun. That could be a good fight. Dante Johnson, Eric McConaughey. I don't know if I like Dante Johnson. Hello, Mr. John Doug. Hello. We're doing a bit of a predictions live stream. Dante Johnson kind of unimpressively had a split decision with Brundage, but Brundage is decent. You know, he is decent. Jalen Turner, Cal Fernandez. That's actually pretty good. Who would win, Orblai or Amosov? You would think Amosov, but Orblai, I don't know. Orblai is probably a better striker, so I maybe would honestly say Orblai just does more damage on the feet. I'm not too sure about Amosov's stand-up, if I'm being honest. And I think Orblai could survive on the ground. But then Orblai lost to Rebecki, which is not a good look. I know it was a split decision, but still. Let's see. Chidinho Jaquani, Joel Alvarez. I think Alvarez will win this even on short notice, but I don't know. Chidinho Jaquani is decent. He is decent. Edson Barbosa, Esteban Ribovic. That should be a Ribovic KO round 1. No. If Ribovic doesn't KO Edson Barbosa in round 1, very disappointing, in my opinion. I wish they made that fight on 330 instead of Orblai Wells. Yeah, Orblai Amosov. Yeah, it's weird how they've really kind of avoided ranking Orblai. They've really avoided ranking him. He should be ranked. He really should be ranked. Johnson beats Ochoa. I'm thinking so, Shiloh. I'm thinking so. People are picking Ochoa like we're not just gonna pretend like Johnson is the biggest prospect killer. He just kills prospects for no good reason. He'll just knock them out. It doesn't make sense, but is he an underdog? He's an underdog, dude. Charles Johnson underdog is probably the dangerous fighter. A Charles Johnson underdog against an up and coming prospect is probably the most dangerous fighter in the world. But I don't think Alvarez has the tools to beat someone like his opponent on short notice. Yeah, Njokuani is good, but he looks kind of like the Carlos Leal fight. Pal MMA, he just looks so slow. I feel like Alvarez is going to be a little bit quicker. Has that what's it called? Lighter man skill. But then to be fair, he just looks so awful against Amosov. But that's a different kind of threat. But again, Njokuani just looks so slow against Leal, who's such a short guy who had I think a big reach disadvantage against Njokuani. Let's see. Carlos Leal had a 74-inch reach. Alvarez has a 77-inch reach. Like, I think Alvarez may be a little bit more technical to play that kind of outside kicking game. He is still at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. Crazy. Crazy stuff, but I don't know. Like, he lost against Jake Matthews, got submitted. That's a different fight. Matthews climbed up his back and submitted him, and then he loses Carlos Leal. I don't know. I'd probably have to rewatch the Carlos Leal fight, but he just looked awful. In the back of my head, he looked awful in the later rounds. And I think Alvarez can put somewhat of a pressure. I mean, he did beat Vicente Luque, which is decent. Alvarez leveled a lot from 2023 to 2024. That's true. Like the Luque win, where he technically knocked him out in the first, and they let it keep on going, and it was kind of just like a beatdown for those two other rounds. He looked decent, and then Luque's he's not done. You saw what he did against Gastelum. I think I may pick Alvarez. A lot of people are picking Alvarez though. 95. You know what? Never mind, dude. 95% of people on Tapology are picking Alvarez by submission. Njokuani is an underdog short notice, but he's 37, 3-inch reach advantage. He's just so simple. Njokuani is very simple, dude. He'll throw like the same teep kick and then low kick, and then he'll like teep, low kick, low kick. This year has been very disappointing for dominating champions like Ilya, Hamza, Alex. PM beats Makhachev right now, going to be crying for a week. It really is kind of like the year of no one can really cement a legacy. No one can really cement a legacy this year, which is disappointing. Unless you're saying like, I guess Volk can cement his legacy because he beat Lopez again. So I guess Alvarez is a lock. I'm thinking it. Njokuani is just a little too simple. I think he also honestly disappointed me with his power against Leal. Like, I don't think he even had Leal really hurt at once in that fight. I think Alvarez is going to be a little bit more. He's going to have a little bit more pop, a little bit more power. First of all, let's just lock in an Esteban Ribovic round 1 KO. Are we expecting anything else besides an Esteban Ribovic round 1 KO? I want to hear it. He does have a 6-inch reach disadvantage, and he's shorter, but Barboza is 30 or 40. Mansur Abdul Malik. Now, does Dustin Stolfus get KO'd in the first? This is the question. I could see him surviving to the second. Mansur Abdul Malik being a little bit gun shy coming off of his first knockout loss where he got destroyed. You know, maybe he's not going to fight the same way, and maybe he'll be a little, patient round 1, and then round 2 he'll knock him out. I think a Johnson decision. But, if he does, also, he's got the fabled win-lose. Yeah, Charles Johnson's definitely beating Jose Ochoa. Now, the question is how. And to be fair, Jose Ochoa has only beaten Cody Durden, and Clayton Carpenter, even though he had a really close decision with Amabayev and Kavanaugh. Do we think a Johnson decision? I think he'd probably knock him out in the later rounds, though. Get Ochoa desperate. Right now, I'm gonna do like a light round 3 KO for Charles Johnson. I have knockout, but could definitely switch to decision. Yeah, it depends on how like, because I think he wins, but if he's making it close, then it's going to be a decision. But if he's like dominating those first 2 rounds, staying at range, outboxing him, and then Ochoa just runs in round 3 trying to get a KO and he gets slept, I could see that. My brain has low-key been telling me to switch it to decision. I could see it. Did he get knocked down by Kavanaugh? Kavanaugh didn't knock him down, did he? I know he cut him pretty badly with an elbow. I think Kavanaugh had to actually shoot on Jose Ochoa, didn't he? Remembering that correctly. So you know what? I probably will go a Johnson decision. I think he's just gonna outrange him, huh? Outrange him, make him angry. And you know what? There's something's telling me Gillian Robertson's gonna win this, dude. Younger, taller, a little bit more gritty in my opinion. I think McKenzie Dern's a bit of a quitter sometimes. Bit of a quitter, if I'm being honest. Ocha's shot on Cav. Oh, it was Ocha that shot on Cav? I knew one of them had to started shooting on the other one, and Kavanaugh reversed it, sliced him open with that elbow from bottom or something. He sliced him open badly, I remember. Because Ochoa bleached his hair, and that he had some nasty bloody hair at the end of that fight. That was nasty. I think I'm going to have to go with a Robertson decision. I think she's going to outgrid and just do more damage to Dern. Should be rougher and tougher. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be a rough cookie. She's going to be a tough cookie. She's going to be too much of a tough cookie for Dern. We are picking Islam, though. Probably by submission. During Gillian's grappling career, can tell you that Gillian gets subbed. Have they grappled with each other? I know she lost to Tabitha Ritchie, actually. Man, never mind. I didn't know she lost to Tabitha Ritchie. That's awful. Yeah, she's been, oh my goodness. Made a low and got KO'd by Macy Barber. Mayra Bruno Silva armbarred her. Oh my goodness. She does have an ugly record. But you're not supposed to look at WMMA records. You're not supposed to really put any logic behind WMMA. Chilo, I think this is where you're getting it wrong. You're trying to use logic. There's no logic in WMMA. Just get that in your thick skull, pal. There's no logic. Dern should be able to find the sub, in my opinion. I could see it, but again, I think Gillian Robertson's a bit of a tough cookie, dude. Bit of a tough cookie. If Islam beats Ian, do you consider him higher than Anderson or GSP in the GOAT list? And he will have more win streaks than the UFC than anyone. I think he's already higher than Silva. He's. I don't know why people. I get Anderson Silva was on this 16-fight win streak. It was against bums, and then he got caught for steroids, and then he won that huge loss streak. I don't think Anderson Silva is that high on the GOAT list, in my opinion. I feel like losses count, even if you're not in your prime anymore. A good, smart GOAT should know when to call it quits. You know? Should know when to call it quits. That's how Adesanya, I feel like, is one fight away from being underneath Strickland and Duplessis in terms of middleweight GOAT. If he loses one more fight, he's definitively underneath Strickland and Duplessis. Of course, Strickland and Duplessis can start losing more fights as well. But right now, I probably have... It's tied between Duplessis and Strickland for middleweight GOAT. And then it'd be Adesanya and then Silva. But just in general, GOAT, Islam's number 1 right now, unfortunately. Not super unfortunately, you know. He has been fun. But the JDM performance was just so awful, dude. Just so awful. The thing is, Islam does not really look that impressive. If you look back at the Dustin fight, Old Man Dustin, he's going to the 5th round against Old Man Dustin. When it's not Alexander Volkanovski off of the couch, he's going to to a hard-fought decision. But Ian Garry, but also Volkanovski has no finishing potential. I could really see Garry winning this. I really strongly thought Islam Makhachev by submission round 3 before I started this live stream. But now that I'm thinking about it, younger, reach, height advantage, but then he'll tip over probably easier. But Volk almost won, but Ian Garry's not as technical as Volk. Not as technical. Are you rage baiting? On what fact? OAIOO 2861. On the Anderson Silva? On Anderson Silva? Or me thinking Ian Garry could get it done? I am an idiot. So there is a lot of opinions that you may think is rage baiting. I'm just dumb, you know. To be fair, I think we're right on. This is my first official year of watching the UFC as a hardcore fan. So congratulations to me. I think it'd be more in October, but still. Gary's an actual vegan. Gets submitted by real Justin Gaethje steroids 2 or 3 years and forget. Yeah, I do. Garry is vegan and he doesn't have any power. Has no finishing potential. But I could just so see it happen. Can you not see it happening? I know it shouldn't happen. I'm probably going to pick Islam Makhachev by round 3 submission, like I said. But I could totally see Ian Garry just at range on the back foot, just popping in, or Islam Makhachev with the jab, you know. But those low kicks, though, those low kicks do help. But Ian Garry's pretty good with those low kicks. Shavkat worked on him. Let's pull up Fight Pass. Let's pull up Fight Pass. 7-1-3. I think the first couple rounds he'll be good, and then Islam's just going to keep on getting closer and closer to that sub. Like round 1, I think round 1's probably going to be Ian Garry's best round. Because I can just see him being so skittish. Can you not see him being so skittish, so scared on the back foot? Oh. He looks like he's about to crap his pants. You know, that's just Ian Garry. This would be the most crap fight of all time. I could very much so see it. But Ian Garry, you know, the thing is, if he doesn't sub JDM, do you think he's going to sub Ian Garry? Maybe. I would guess Ian Garry has a better defensive jiu-jitsu base, though. He's working with Charles Oliveira, and I know Islam submitted Charles Oliveira, but that's a different kind of, you know, he subbed him when he was rocked. You know, there's a bit of a difference, but maybe I just go Makhachev decision, dude. Maybe if I'm predicting Makhachev decision and he gets it finished, I'll be surprised and I'll actually be happy. But if I predict Makhachev by sub and he makes it a boring decision, I'll lose my mind. So if I'm at least predicting a boring decision, when a boring decision does happen, I'll at least won't be as upset with it happening. You know what I'm saying? But if I pick like a Makhachev sub, JDM works with Craig Jones extensively, Gary's Jiu-Jitsu is not near as good defensively, then Dubronx dropped the ball pulling out of his fight with Arman. I think, first of all, Shiloh, I think I get what you're saying, how he worked with Craig Jones extensively to get that octopus guard, to really work on getting his defensive jiu-jitsu very good. But I still think Garry, you know, he did reverse Shavkat. So the big question is how much of a fraud is Shavkat? Is what we're going to learn at the end of this fight is how much of a fraud is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Is because of Craig Jones? I could see it, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. Islam just didn't look like a monster on the ground, though, against JDM. And I know, like you said, Craig Jones helped out a lot, but still, I feel like if he was a monster on the ground, he'd at least be making an effort. He made no effort to get dominant position to try and submit JDM. He was very content with staying in half guard. He was very, very content with making it boring. I don't think this will be any different. He's fighting for legacy at this point. He doesn't care. But I do think Charles, did he drop the ball for the Arman? I think because, of course, if you don't know, Dana White himself said that Arman's original opponent did pull out. It probably was going to be Oliveira. I think yes and no. It depends on who he gets. If he gets the title shot, then no. You know what I'm saying? It depends. Maybe the UFC will just say, hey, we get it, you know, and then the only fight that's left to do for Charles Oliveira is the Justin Gaethje rematch. Or they give him Diego Lopez. Jones has figured out them defensively. Has them figured out defensively. That's why Volk and JDM didn't get subbed. Yeah, I could see, but Ian Garry's also very good. I think if you go off skill for skill, Ian Garry's probably more well-rounded in that grappling defense. Now, do you think that Craig Jones was just able to bring JDM just that much above, where he's? I guess he just knew what to do for Islam Makhachev, specifically, is what you're saying. So he just kind of pulled up the cheat sheet for Islam. So you don't have yourself against Dagestani wrestling on his channel. And I saw his video to watch out for those. What's the over under on glove grabs? Are we thinking under over on glove grabs from Makhachev 1.5? What's the line? I'm thinking it's like plus 1,000 for under 1.5 glove grabs for Makhachev. Probably like plus 1,000 under, minus 1,000 over. You know, the only real grappling sample you have is against Shavkat, and he got controlled for 10 plus minutes. He did, but he survived and he reversed Shavkat at the end. He wasn't able to even sub Shavkat though with like a pretty good rear naked choke. How are you not able to finish that, Ian? How are you not able to finish? Over 1.5 glove grab is minus 275. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, Pally, I think it depends on who they give Armin next, or who they give Charles next. If they give Charles, like, Diego Lopez, I'd say Charles Oliveira really dropped the ball pulling out of the Armin fight, because that's a lot more winnable in my opinion. I think Lopez knocks out Charles Oliveira. I could be wrong. Oliveira could just out-wrestle him and be bigger and too strong and stuff like that, but I think Lopez just has the right skill set to kind of just make Oliveira pay, where he's very defensively irresponsible. But if he gets the Gaethje fight, then he won the lottery. He didn't drop the ball, he won the lottery. Over 2.5 glove grabs is minus 150? Really? I'm probably going to put a lot of money on that, dude. Only minus 150? That's a steal. I'd probably guess 4 glove grabs max. Love and respect from India, bro. Love and respect, dude. Love and respect. Not in a gay way, though. Okay? We're not gay around here. I'm going to have to just do a Makhachev decision, CeeLo, and it's just for my own mental state. I could say submission. Like I said, I think round 3 submission's a pretty good round. I think round 1 is Ian Garry's best round. He's going to be very fidgety, very quick, and, Islam has to get used to that range. And Islam by sub is plus 200? There's no way. You're fibbing. You're fibbing. You're actually fibbing. There's no way. John Doug is biting his fingers. He's intense. Where's UFC? There it is. Islam Makhachev by submission plus 220. Islam by points is plus 135. But Islam couldn't sub JDM. Do you think he's going to sub Garry, who's been training with Oliveira? That's what I said, John Doug. But Sheila Prime thinks that Craig Jones is so much of like a kryptonite to that Dagestani wrestling that he was able to just like it's like what it's called. He's saying that Craig Jones is like a cheat sheet to that Dagestani wrestling and jiu-jitsu, where even though Charles Oliveira may be a better grappler defensively, just learning from Craig Jones is enough to kind of put a stop to that. Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is not world class like Craig Jones, John. I don't know, dude. Oliveira's got some good jiu-jitsu, man. Craig Buddy chokes Charles in a minute. Oh my goodness. I'd love to see that. I really hope when Oliveira retires from the UFC, he goes to UFC BJJ. That's where I'm hoping, like Gilbert Burns, I'm hoping a lot of these fighters that start retiring go to UFC BJJ. They should make like a UFC wrestling Like if they really wanted to, UFC should buy RAF and have UFC uh freestyle, so UFC FS or something like that, where you just give paths for people to once they retire to go to. So you can do grappling, you go to UFC BJJ if you want to be, jiu-jitsu kind of thing, or you can go to wrestling or something like that. But like Oliveira didn't get mauled, didn't win a second against Islam. What did jiu-jitsu does Hollow's even have? To be fair, he got glove grabbed. CeeLo, you're missing out the fact that he got glove grabbed. All right, he got glove grabbed. Okay, we'll forget about that. When Oliveira was gonna take, I think Islam grabbed the cage too. Like Oliveira was going for a leg, and then Islam grabbed the cage to recenter himself so that he had a better position over Oliveira, so he couldn't grab his leg as easily. Islam subbed Oliveira because he hurt him. That's what I said, John. Hilo is adamant, though. He's adamant. But I think it's probably going to be an Islam Makhachev decision. So Islam by KO is plus 900. Honestly, that's pretty good, if we're being honest. Islam by points is plus 135. Islam by the submission is plus 220. And Ian Garry by points is plus 440. Ian Garry by KO is plus 1100. Ian Garry by submission is plus 4500. What are we thinking? I feel like Merab is getting old and Islam is getting into his prime. I think if Merab was smart at this stage of his career, he's got to fight Khalil Roundtree for the interim belt. Merab fighting Khalil Roundtree? Manny, did you say? Do you mean someone else? Do you mean someone else? Merab fighting Khalil Roundtree. Are you thinking Yuri? Are you thinking Ankalaev? Islam submission in the first round? I'm not sure about that AOT. I think round 3. I think round 2 or 3. I'm leaning more round 3. I think round 1's going to be Gary's first round because Islam's going to have to get used to having somebody so big and so tall in the cage. We can't have Soyboy being the reason why the welterweight curse lives on. We can't. We really can't. But to be fair, Omaro Buttman 31-45. It'd be so funny if Ian Garry wins. But he can't, dude. He's vegan. He has no power. Garry should be able to dance around for the first. That's what I'm thinking too, Shiloh. Islam's getting used to the range, getting used to the reach and height. Ian Gary's probably going to do his best round in round 1. Round 2, I think Islam's going to take him down at least once or twice. Start learning some stuff in round 3 is where he'll probably take him down early 7. Probably middle round 3 is what I had to guess. I need to pay, dude. Give me a certain lock. Some locks. Even though this is the year of the underdogs, I think we're done. But some locks, I think Mansour Abdul-Malik KO is a lock. But Mansour Abdul-Malik, Dustin Stolfus does have a chin. He took some crazy shots from Gastelum. But I think Mansour Abdul-Malik can probably KO him. I think Ribovich KOing Barboza in round 1 is a lock. He got KO'd by Jalen Turner in round 1. I think Ribovich is a little bit more better than Jalen Turner at this point. So I think Esteban Ribovich by round 1 KO is a pretty good lock. Neil Magny should lose to Ramiz Brahimaj by like a submission. Cal Fernandez against Turner plus 130 money line is a lock. I think that's pretty good, but Jalen Turner could be a little tricky because who has Cal Fernandez really fought? Harry Hardwick on a short notice. Garam Kutaledze, Muhammad Yahya. He lost a split decision to Mark DeCase. Felipe Douglas, he head kick KOs. I don't know, dude. Jalen Turner, he's not even old. He's younger than Cal Fernandez. Hello, Makhachev wins. That's what I'm thinking, Clay. Khalil wrestling is not that elite of Merab. I feel like Goldberg isn't going to be active for over a year. Maybe Merab gets one more win against someone like Bilal, then fights Roundtree for the interim. Okay. Manny Marmion, I think you're on drugs. Or high. Merab's in bantamweight. Am I crazy? Can somebody decipher Manny Marin for me? Turner's a quitter. That is true. Jalen Turner is a bit of a quitter. He is. He does kind of quit. What KO is a lock? I think Esteban Ribovic over Edson Barboza is a round 1 KO lock. That's a round 1 KO lock. And I think Dante Johnson, or sorry, Mansour Abdul Malik is a KO lock over Dustin Stolfus. And Shiloh's thinking Jalen Turner gets KO'd by Cowboy Fernandez. Do you say round 1? Oh, no, you don't think he's a KO lock. You just think he's at least a win lock. I get you. Can anyone decipher Manny Marion? Cowboy cracks? Does he? That doesn't even make sense. See, John Doug doesn't even know either. John Doug doesn't even know. Khalil wrestling is not that elite of Marab. I feel like Olberg ain't gonna be active for a year. That's true. So I've deciphered that. Olberg's not active for. So we're in the light heavyweight division. So basically, what we have to find out for Manny Marion is who is Marab in this middleweight or this light heavyweight division. Is it Yuri Prohaska? They could possibly mean Yuri Prohaska, but Yuri Prohaska has already fought Khalil, so it can't be Khalil. Maybe they're talking about Paulo Costa. Maybe it's but that elite of Marab. So they're talking about a wrestler at light heavyweight as well. Gets one more win against someone like Bilal, but then they're also talking about welterweight Bilal, then fight Roundtree for the interim. So Manny Mariam, just blink if you need help. If you're in danger and you need help, just blink. Let me know, dude. I can help you. Marab Jacuzzi. Okay, so I understand that. Hey, Marab Jacuzzi. I understand that. Marab does sell jacuzzis. Orblai KO is a lock. I think more submission. AOT. I'm thinking more submission. Jeremiah Wells. He won a split decision over Max Griffin. And barely beat Themba Gorimbo. So I'm thinking, and if you look at it, he was having some grappling moments with Themba Gorimbo where he's in a bit of trouble. I think Orblai should take. I could see Orblai just hitting a big meaty overhand on Jeremiah Wells and knocking him out, but I'm probably going to do an Orblai submission, like round 1 or 2 submission. If I had to guess. Magny? You think Magny is going to get KO'd by Ramiz Brahimaj? I think Brahimaj would probably submit him, no? Old club and sub? Magny should get subbed as well? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, what round? Magny is a bit of a cockroach. He can survive. But Yaroslav Emisov, so this is really going to show how good Yaroslav Emisov is. But to be fair, Ramiz Brahimaj lost to Punieli Soreno. Magnet should get subbed as well. Yeah. This is tough. It should be a Brahimaj submission, but I could see him just getting a decision win. But dude, he's 5'10 and Magny's 6'3. He has an 8-inch reach advantage. Dude, Magny is. It's evens on Magny Brahimaj. It's evens. With Magny being a 69% lock on Tapology. 69% of people are picking Magny on Tapology. I feel like that's a little crazy, dude. Let's pull up. Now, do we think, is Vicente Luque going to win another one? You think there is any chance Ian wins? Even if he does, how do you think he has to play out? I think there's a chance, a little bit of underrated chance. It's off of the fact that Islam's kind of on his high of it's a lot of pressure on Islam. This is the fight where he breaks the 16 fight win streak and breaks a record and becomes the first person to ever have a 17 fight win streak. Then it's also his second fight in welterweight, so he's getting a little bit more comfortable. It's somebody who's bigger and taller than him. He's never fought anyone that's as tall as Ian Garry or as lanky as Ian Garry. So I'd say an Ian Garry submission, or not submission, an Ian Garry decision. I'd probably have Ian Garry winning like the first 3 rounds. If Ian Garry wins and he wins the first 3 rounds, and maybe starts losing the 4th and 5th, just because of how much energy he's going to have to use in those first 3 rounds. Because Ian Gary's going to have to be on the back foot the whole fight, defending a whole bunch of takedown attempts from Islam Makhachev. Now, he's not going to have too much problem on the feet, I think Islam's going to have a lot of trouble to hit Ian Garry just being that tall, and he doesn't really follow through with multi-step or multi-punch combinations for him to take advantage of Ian Garry using tall man's defense. But I think if Ian Garry wins, it's going to be rounds 1, 2, and 3 is where he wins. Where he's just going to be a little too quick, going to be too good at. He has a very good jiu-jitsu base or judo base, sorry. So he's very good at balancing on one leg, has very good balance, but Islam's so good at just trapping one leg and then tripping over the other. Just very good at those like advanced trips and throws. People forget, man, Magny got subbed by Matthews. He didn't, though. He didn't. But he did. He did get subbed by Matthews. Was that round 1? Did he submit Matthews in round 1, or was it like the last? I remember it's like the last couple seconds of a round or something. It's like round 1 or 2. So Brahimaj should be able to submit him in the first. A little bit better of a grappler than Matthews. What is? Look at Brahimaj. Ramiz Brahimaj. But he lost to Themba Garimba. He didn't lose to Themba Garimba and Punahele Serranio. He got subbed in the first. Subbed, and then he got out or whatever that thing. I don't even know what happened. Yeah, but dude, Brahimaj had lost to Court McGee and Max Griffin. He got an ear injury. That's probably when his ear popped off. He has a lot of submissions, though. When does he normally get 10 first-round submissions for Ramiz Brahimaj? Neil Magny's been submitted 5 times in the first. Twice in the second. It's crazy that his last couple of losses are... Listen to... You say that, Shiloh, but Magny's only really lost to Amosov, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Ian Garry, and Gilbert Burns, and Rachmanov. And then Michael Chiesa way back in the day. Has won over Robbie Lawler, Jeff Neal, Max Griffin, D-Rod, Phil Rowe, Mike Malott, Zaleski Dos Santos, and Jake Matthews, dude. If you really think about it, not that bad of a loss. Not that bad of a loss. If you're really, really thinking about it. Now, has anyone properly decoded what Manny Moran has been trying to say? Has anyone done that for me? Does anyone have a decoder? I don't know. Anything to kind of help me really understand what they are trying to even say. I don't know. But Marab Jacuzzi is, I get that. I get Marab Jacuzzi. Huh. We'll find out later. See. I think Brahimaj's round 1 submission is pretty good, though. I think he's a little bit better at grappling than Jake Matthews. He has some nasty body kicks. He lost a decision to Punahele Serrano. Yeah, he had some decent striking in that fight. I can't choose a 40-year-old Neil Magny to get another win. What does his pattern look like? 2 losses and then a win. It's also been 1-1 and 1-1. But you know what? He's due for a loss. He's just due for a loss. Okay. So Orably, when do I think Jeremiah Wells is going to get submitted? When does he normally get submitted? Orably's been submitted once in the third. Sorry, Wells has been submitted once in the third. Orably has 5 round 1 submissions, 1 round 2 submissions. Who subbed him, though? Max Griffin, Carlston Harris, and Akanda choked him in the third. Yeah. He hasn't fought anybody as good as... Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's got to be an Orably. Are we thinking round 1 submission? You know what? Let's just say round 1 submission. But then he'll disappoint me. Marab Staisalisi. Okay. We're getting closer to English. Can I translate that? No, I can't. Okay. We have a new clue. if anyone has like a bulletin board where they're kind of putting all these hints on it with like a cork board and they're tying red lines around it and connecting the two, they have a big board and they're just kind of lining them all up. A new hint is Marab Stylisili. Okay, just for you. That's just for you. Okay. But Orablai submission round 2. Bramaj submission round 1. A lot of submissions on this card. Now Rafael Tobias versus Lucas Fernando. Tobias lost a decision against DR Nurgache. Not that bad. Yair de Oliveira submission. Wellington Lopez. Nunez. 7-2, 8-2-1, 8-0. 20. Oh my goodness. Rafael Tobias is 23, dude. 6'2 to 6'3, 74.5 inch reach to 81.5 inch reach. Insane stuff. I mean, fake Portuguese accent. Do I have a fake Portuguese accent? I've never been told. Maybe I do. I may sound fake Portuguese. You know? No, I don't know. Maybe you're talking about somebody. I don't know. I mean, fake Portuguese accent. That's true. That's very, very true. Let's get Neil Magny and you. All right. Rafael Tobias. Lost to the year, Nurgache. What do you think about Dern's? Oh, fake Portuguese accent. Dude, she code switches up. She's like Kamala Harris, dude. Has a different accent for every different person, dude. Different accent for different people, dude. If she wants to be kind of, hey, I'm one of y'all, she'll go into her fake Portuguese accent. But it's like when Chael Sonnen made fun of Anderson Silva for living in California. She's from California at this point. She just is. What beaches is she laying on all the time? Probably California beaches, if we're being honest. She's probably laying on California beaches half the time. It's been KO'd once in the second, lost a decision. Whoa. Okay. Leg kicks. Miguel Porto KO'd him, who's now 5-3. Okay. Not the best. What about Lucas Fernando? I'm looking at Lucas Fernando, Rafael Tobias, in case you're wondering. I don't know. I'm thinking Lucas Fernando, just off of the looks. But he lost to Bakoyev. Never mind. We're going Rafael Tobias by decision. Bro, where are you from? Gaius Udin K5R6W. I'm from Mississippi. From Mississippi, dude. You probably couldn't tell. Because I have kind of a Boston accent on me, of course. Don't hear my country accent at all because I have more of a South New Jersey accent. But I'm actually from Mississippi. Quillen Salkill beats Hamzat. Now, I can... Okay, another clue has been added to the cork board. Manny Marion says Quillen Salkill beats Hamzat. I agree. Beats him in rounds 3, 4, and 5. I agree. Yeah, we're going Rafael Tobias by decision, dude. You can't lose to Azamat Bakoyev. Lucas Fernando did. I can't trust that. I just can't. Dolly Parton Stampede? It's actually does it say Dolly Parton Stampede? It does. See, it used to be called the Dixie Stampede, but they had to change it because of racism. So it's no longer the Dixie Stampede. It's Dolly Parton Stampede. But if you see that, That's an old flag that says Dixie Stampede. Yeah, I'm just like cool like that. And those are my young youth baseball medals. Boom, 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 boom. Who do I think Islam or Ian? Cooper Burnett. I'm gonna unfortunately have to say Islam Makhachev by round 3 submission. Is what I'm gonna have to say. I just think Ian Garry just doesn't have the kind of power threat that I need. I need him to be. Volkanovski doesn't need that kind of power threat because he can be more technical, kind of bully. But think if you're less technical, you need to have power or like a submission game or something. So I'm thinking round 1, Ian Gary's gonna win. He'll be too quick for Islam. Islam's not gonna really understand the range. And then round 2, I think Islam's gonna get like one takedown late. And then round 3, he'll get a takedown early, submit him probably halfway into round 3, is what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, Cooper Burnett. My parents still have the Dixie Stampede mugs and merch. Based. Dude, that's how it is. A lot of things were renamed from Dixie, like the Dixie Chicks, the Dixie Stampede, because the guy that was Dixie was racist, I guess. Me and my friends have opened a new homemade ice cream stand. We also have our own website. Can you please shout out? It's called, you can check it out on Google. We accept delivery. Ice, and I can't read the rest of that, Manny Marion. I can't read the rest of that, pal. That sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Cooper Barnett. I appreciate it. I can kind of I don't know if I've had the best prediction rate this year. I'll have to maybe do a video recapping my predictions, seeing how good I am. But I can only see Ice, Manny Marion, on that text. I only see Ice. So I think YouTube's broken or something. I almost said that, by the way. You almost got me. But I've seen enough YouTube compilations of Twitch streamers, pal. I've seen, maybe if like, you know what, save that if I get big. Save that when there's like a huge rush or something, so I have to read it quick and not really think about it. But because it's so slow, I'm not gonna fall for it because it's like one at a time, so I can take my time reading it. You know, I've modeled on predictions in the last 2 weeks. Well, Shiloh, my prime was like a couple months ago when you weren't here. So really, you can't really judge me too hard on that. You can't really judge me too hard on that. My prime was way too long ago. Way too long ago. So, like it doesn't really, does it count? How much longer will you allow this to happen? This week it's over. This week it's over, pal. All right, it's over. Your reign of terror is over. When did I get 61 subscribers, dude? I appreciate all the subscribers. I know all 61 of y'all watch every single one of my videos. I know all 61 people are probably here in the chat right now. So just shout out to the 61 subscribers, dude. Umar, I mean. Habib brother. So Umar should fight again because Marab. No, I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't. What do you think about Morales versus Islam? I think Morales probably has a better chance. Yes, like I said earlier, where you need you need a finishing potential to beat Islam. If you're not if you need to either be more technical than Islam to beat him, or you need to have that finishing power, finishing ability. So I think Morales has a lot better chance to beat Islam, but I think Islam may. I don't know, dude. That's tough. Round 1 is scary, but I'd probably give Islam. If it's after the Garry fight, like if they did Islam Makhachev versus Michael Morales, and this is the first time Islam's had to fight somebody with such a long reach advantage and a big height advantage, then I'd probably say Morales. But if it's after a Garry fight where he's fought somebody bigger with a bigger reach advantage, is used to that dynamic, then I'd probably give it to Islam. So it depends. But if it's after this fight and he fights Morales, I'd probably say Islam wins this. I'm going to give you a Wisconsin blow dryer if you don't calm down. Okay? I'm not going to look up what that is. Yeah, I'm making the executive decision to not look up what that is. I hope that's fine. I will calm down. Now, how calm do you want me to be? Out of 10. Oh, like, are we talking about like a 1 or 2 kind of calmness? Or we just am I like an 8 and you need me to bring it down to like a 6? Like what Ian Garry wins by unanimous decision 48-47, 48-47, 49-46. If that happens, I will be clapping and laughing. And tears might be coming out of my eyes because of how hard I'm laughing. I think Ian Garry winning is probably the funniest thing that could ever happen in sports. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, it's been deciphered. Peter Yan might fight Sean O'Malley next because UFC pushed Sean O'Malley like he's Connor. Meanwhile, Umar fights Khalil Roundtree for interim. Merab gets one more win against someone like JDM or Bilal. Okay. So we've deciphered the first half. The second half is still. So who is black at the top of bantamweight? There's nobody black at the top in these lighter weight classes. Montel Jackson? Umar fights down and fights Montel Jackson? Is that what you're telling me? Let's look at where you train or not. I used to. And then they shut down my gym. Can you believe that? They shut down my kickboxing gym. So I stopped. So now I'm self-trained in the fact that I just repeat what the drills are that they taught me. Because I went there for like a year, I think. I was kickboxing, going to kickboxing classes for a year. And then they canceled it. So now I just kind of hit the bag and do my own drills. But you know, it's not bad. Peyton Top is the closest you're going to get to a black guy at top-ranked bantamweight. That's probably. If a vegan cook is the person to stop Habib Islam win streak, I might generally stop watching MMA. But that'd be so funny. It'd be so funny if a vegan's the bane. The bane. Can you show us shadow box? Okay, so you're like here, and like you throw 1 and then you throw 2. Bam. So you're like you do the geriatric old man where you're just kind of always scraping your eyebrows, and then you throw a jab like a nasty like jab where like it doesn't even look good. That's kind of my shadow boxing technique. That's the technique, you know, a crackhead, kind of like a late night crackhead. That's my technique that I go with. It works. It works. I'm southpaw too, so people expected a crackhead in orthodox. They don't really see crackheads in southpaw. That's kind of the trick. That's kind of the trick, dude. That's the trick. Pretty sure Umar is black. Umar's black. Let me double check. I could have been blind. I don't think he's black. Clyde Boston. I'm not gonna read Clyde. I'm not. I think we're just gonna stay on. I think we're just gonna stay. We're gonna stay on first name basis, Clyde. I'm not gonna read your last name though. He's gonna say he's the first vegan champion if he wins, and how he's had it so rough because he's vegan. Yeah, he's gonna bring up his. You know he's bringing up Layla. You know he's gonna say, "Oh, you doubters! Oh, you doubted me! The vegan champion!" Dude, it's gonna be so. I will be laughing. I will be laughing extremely if Ian Garry wins. Bro, kind of like your accent so much. I appreciate it. Gias. Am I saying something wrong? No, you're saying the right stuff. I'm just trying to decipher it. You know, you're saying stuff in a different language, so I'm trying to learn what the. Oh, are you talking about Marcus McGee? Marcus McGee is half black. He could mean okay. So it's been your technique isn't very good, bro. What do you, dude? Clearly you've never fought a southpaw crackhead. Unironically, though, he'd be an active champion. He would. You know what would happen? I guarantee you, if Ian Garry beats Islam Makhachev, depending on how damaged he gets, we're going to get Ian Garry Carlos Prates 2 within 6 months. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you we're going to get Ian Garry. But, you know, he could switch up on us. Ian Garry could get the belt and just do a switch up. Just never fight again. That's the strat if you're a champion. Just never fight. Unless you're Joshua Van, my king. Joshua Van, Diego Lopez, most active ranked people. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. It's so beautiful. Tough get injured. That's why I said JDM or Bilal maybe. Yeah, I get that, but we were talking about Marab and Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley and Umar, and now we're at Bilal or JDM. So do you see the concern and the confusion that I get from that? Do you understand that? My name is pronounced Buston. Thanks, I definitely didn't get made fun of enough for growing that up. Yeah, but why'd you have to add my face to it? Why? Why? Why'd you have to add my face on the? Why'd you have to tack that on? You didn't have to tack on my face at the end. You know what that makes it look like, right? That Chris Hansen gif that's going around. You know how that makes it look like, right? If Ian Garry beats Islam, I generally don't see anyone besides Yaroslav Amosov beating him. You don't think Shavkat could beat him in a rematch? If Shavkat gets back, or you think Shavkat's done now? I think Shavkat's just not going to be the same kind of person. Thou killed. See, now we're back at square one where I have no idea what you're on about, Manny Marion. Let's narrow down. What division are you talking about? Let's narrow this down. Let's kind of lock down a place. What division are you talking about? And I'll meet you there. Normally you meet halfway in a conversation. You just stay over there and give me some hints, and I'll meet you over there. You don't think he's going to be the same? I could see that. But you also don't think... I think Prates KOs Garry in a rematch. This new Prates who gets the ball rolling a lot faster and is a lot less hesitant. I think this new Prates KOs Islam or Ian Garry. He probably KOs Islam. I think the person who has the best chance besides Ian Garry, I think Ian Garry does have a decent chance for welterweight. But I think Carlos Prates, dude, are really has a really good chance. At JRN 6400, I'll submit you under round 1, kid. Okay? A little bit of hate. I love a little bit of hate going on. A little bit of hate farming. My egg farts are really bad tonight. Good Lord. Okay, thank you, Clyde. Again, I think we're going to stick on the first name basis. I didn't mean to make fun of you and, hurt your childhood dreams, but, So, Habib's division, I think. Okay. So you've brought up bantamweights, light heavyweights, middleweights, welterweights, and now we're saying that we're in the lightweight division. It did not narrow it down. I thought I'd be narrowed down, but you added like a complete fifth dimension to this conversation. So now I have to be like Sherlock Holmes to try and solve this. And I have just the hat for the job. Okay. Let's put on our thinking cap, dear Watson. Elementary, my dear Watson. What is this guy saying? So let's think about all that he said previously. He said Shavkat, JDM or Bilal. So that's welterweight. But he's also said Umar and Sean O'Malley. So that's bantamweight. But then he's also brought up Roundtree. So that's light heavyweight. The guy Alex Pereira fought. So now this is heavyweight. So we're at 6 divisions now. At Manny Marion, 470-40. I do BJJ, bud. I could be anyone. My name is also Jonah Hill. Oh my goodness, dude. Do not. Hey, if you ever meet Jonah Hill, if you ever see Jonah Hill on the street, run the other way. If you see Jonah Hill on the street and you're thinking about doing anything, run the other way. I beg of you. You do not want to see what Jonah Hill has cooking up on the floor. All right. You do not want to see what Jonah Hill can cook up. All right. He will put you in an inverted Boston crab. He will put you in a Suliev stretch while tickling your feet. He will do some nasty things to you. I will plead and beg for you. If you see Jonah Hill in the street, run. Run, dude. Do not try and mess with the kid. He is dangerous. His first name is Danger. His middle name is Riss. And his last name doesn't matter because you'll be dead before you can hear it, dude. You'll be dead before you can hear it. Yeah, I can't figure that out. The Sherlock Holmes, I don't deserve to. Sherlock Holmes hat, don't deserve to wear it. I can't figure out what you're saying. I really can't. Let's wrestle. Let's wrestle. Okay, so now we're adding. Are you talking about him and Jonah Hill? Are you and Jonah? You're talking about Jonah Hill. You must be saying for you and Jonah Hill to wrestle. Also, the problem with the new Protest for Ian Garry is Protest usually has a side and reach advantage over most dudes he's KO'd, which he won't have against Ian. Yes, but I think you saw it in round 5. He basically had Ian Garry KO'd because he was letting his hands go. The whole reason Protest lost that first Ian Garry fight because he was hesitant. He didn't want to be too explosive early and gas out. And then you saw round 4 and 5. He goes, "Well, I'm losing. I might as well just go for the KO." And he starts hurting Ian Garry badly. Now, of course, Ian Garry was also doing a lot of volume, keeping Carlos Prates conscious of his things. But also, Prates never, if you've noticed recently, Prates has started doing a lot more 2-on or 1-on-1 wrist control. So he'll walk up to you, grab both your wrists. He'll just grab them. Ian Garry, he was not doing that. He was trying to stay at range with Ian Garry. Not sure why. He's gotten a lot more deadly up close now. If he does the same thing, he closes down on Ian Garry. Now, Ian Garry is very good at, back and forth, and he's there and he's out and he's shooting in. But now I think if he starts, hand holding, just grabbing both of Ian Garry's hands, gets up close to him, starts doing damage in the pocket, I think he wins, gets like a round 2 or 3 KO. True, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Round 5, you might be onto something. He's just a brand new Protest. Like ever since that Ian Garry fight, he's been brand new. Like who moves a lot better. He moves while punching better. He's honestly a brand new guy. So it's not like crazy for you to still think that Ian Garry would win. But if you just look at how he's been doing recently, completely different Carlos Prates. Now, who do we think wins Vicente Luque, Tresean Gore? I don't know if Shiloh's still here. Shiloh may be gone. If anyone's new here, we are doing live predictions. I don't have it up because I'm too lazy to put it up. I'll give you all a little rundown. Anyone new here, I'll give you a rundown. I have Islam Makhachev by round 3 submission. All right. Clyde, okay, good night. By the number, sleep tight, sweetheart. I love you. I'm gonna subscribe. Thank you, Clyde. You can just call me. Since we're on first name basis, you can just call me By, dude. That sounds gay. Let's just stick with the whole name of By the number. Let's just stick with that. But see you, Clyde. See you, Clyde. Hope you have a good night too, sweetie pie. Not gay though. I might have said something wrong, but you get what I'm matching up. Real RYT. Don't know what that means. What I'm matching right? What I'm matchmaking right? Of course, Manny Marion. You're not psychotic. You're not crazy. You're right in the membrane, dude. You are not insane in the membrane. I think Shavkat could have legitimately cleared the whole division if he hadn't become withered. I don't know, dude. Shavkat very, very unimpressively won against Ian Garry. But to be fair, maybe that's enough. I think Shavkat would probably get tagged up by Protest, though. If he got Protest before that Ian Garry fight, then maybe he'd probably beat Morales. Does he beat JDM? He probably beats JDM. Tresean Gore's a marauder. Gore finish. I honestly might think that Shiloh. I could see a Gore guillotine. His nasty guillotine. He has a nasty guillotine. You remind me of a more pre-trained version of MMA Guru. I'm going to sub up. Thank you, JNR 6400. Thank you. Hopefully I'll remind you of Guru in terms of subs and money. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't. But hopefully one day. And I hope you're not just saying that because I'm fat too. Because you know what, dude? We're not fat, dude. I'm not fat yet. I'm not as big as Guru. All right, so we're different. I'm not 6'3", apparently. How does he get to be 6'3", dude? How is that fair? Marab gets rematch, but I think against Roundtree or beats someone like Bilal, get a straight title shot, is what I tried to say. So, Manny Marion, why don't we? I'm gonna give you a little homework. Type in what you're trying to say into ChatGPT and write "make this readable," and then copy paste. Get back to me. All right. We'll get to the bottom of what you're trying to say eventually. Eventually. I'll say this: he would have at least been champion because he definitely would have been Bilal. That is true. That is very true. But to be fair, after the Ian Garry Shavkat Rakhmonov fight, I feel like a lot of people were saying Bilal beats these guys, but Bilal also looks so awful against Ian Garry and stupid Bonfim. He looks so bad against Bonfim. Gore's real middleweight. Luque's too small. I could see it. I think Gore probably gets like what, a round 2 submission is what I'm thinking. I think round 1 Luque is going to be in there. Because Gore can take a beating, is the thing. Gore can really take a beating. But his loss to Marco Tulio isn't aging that well. And he got outstruck by Rodolfo Vieira, though, is the thing, Shiloh. Gore got straight up outstruck on the feet by Rodolfo Vieira. Dude, MMA is so weird. Like, you think Bokoyev's going to be a big thing, gets just submitted by Gore. You think, oh, well, Gore lost to Tulio. Tulio's going to be a good, big thing, and then he loses to CLD and then Kopylov. It's weird. It's very weird. Interim. It's crazy because nobody talks about Bonfim, but he's a good size for the division and he's a submission threat. He wasn't sober for those losses. I think Gore was drunk. I don't talk about Bonfim JNR because he robbed Wonder Boy. All right, my best friend loves Wonder Boy. He was so upset when they robbed Wonder Boy of that win. So I'm a Bonfim hater, dude. But he is really good. He's scary because he's that new generation of welterweight where you're just tall and lanky for no reason. You're tall and lanky, and he's got some power. I would be higher on him if he KO'd Bilal. I would have been a lot higher on him. But, he did really good. He did just shut down everybody. He wasn't sober for those losses. That's true. Yuri. Hello, Mr. Yuri. We're on a first name basis already. We're just friends in this live stream, so we're on first name basis. We don't need to say our last name. So, you know what, Yuri? Welcome, dude. Welcome. Welcome, Yuri. So what are you thinking, Sheila? I'm thinking a round 2 submission for Gore, but I would be scared. Luque is no joke. But it just looks so bad against Alvarez. Submitted Themba Garimba, though. He is a bit of a thumper. Gore will give Luque a second brain bleed. Truth. If Merab fights for the interim belt against Roundtree or beats someone like Bilal JDM, then his next fight should be for the undisputed title. Either of those wins would be a huge statement. And woo. Okay, so Merab. So we're talking about welterweight. We are talking about welterweight. Is that confirmed? Look like a stereotypical bully from an early 2000s movie? Thank you, dude. That means I'm intimidating. That means I have aura. So I appreciate it, Yuri. I appreciate it. It may be the hair. The loaf of bread that I have on the hair. That could happen. Who would Merab be at welterweight? Who do you think is going to win, Van Pantoja 2? Van. I picked Van in the first Pantoja fight, which obviously was right. I originally had second round sub earlier, but changed it back to KO. Oh, you think I'll KO him? I like men's MMA more than women's MMA. Well, Yuri, I'll let you in on a secret. I think a lot of people here like men's MMA more. And that's a bit of a secret, bit of a hidden detail that you may not have missed in your first watch through, but just listen to any of my WMMA predictions, and I think you'll find out real quick that I do not like WMMA. Now, there is some WMMA where the women that are fighting are men, and that's a little bit more fun. Like Amanda Nunes punching Juliana Pena so hard she gets knocked off both of her feet. That's probably my favorite highlight ever. Is Pena running in, hooks a blazing, and she just gets caught with a counter left from Nunes, and she gets sent off her feet, Looney Tunes style. Goes whoop, 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 and then falls down. That was very funny. He kind of looked like Ian Garry off camp. Hey, Manny Marion, let's not do insults. All right, let's not do insults, please. Please, let's not do insults. That's actually very hateful. That's strike 1, Mary Marion. Please do not compare me to Ian Garry. That's very rude. It's very rude. But yeah, JRN, I did say Van would beat Pantoja in the first fight. Now, is it the way that I thought? No. But he still won. I picked him to beat I was about to say Kaya Sakura. I was about to say I picked Van to beat Kaya Sakura, but he never fought Kaya Sakura. He fought Tetsuro Taira because those are two different people. They're different. I picked him to beat Tetsuro Taira by decision. I didn't think he'd get a finish, but dude, he's nasty. So I'm picking him to beat Pantoja. I just think if you look at that Urseg performance from Pantoja, I think he's a little bit better with the combinations. I think he's a little bit quicker, and I think he'll work in some body shots better, and he won't shoot on takedowns like Urseg did, like the idiot where he lost him the fight. He lost himself the fight. Hello, Manny. Who is Manny? You're hilarious, dude. Thank you, JRN. Hey, hello, Mr. Manny Marianne. Oh, Manny. I see what you're saying. Bro, I'm so ready to troll Mano27's live stream. He should be live anytime soon. Okay. Only thing I'm excited about the WMA this weekend is the weigh-ins. That's actually, you know what? That may be the first truthful thing that you've said, Manny Marion. To be fair, though, McKenzie Dern's not all that. If I'm being honest, she's very ugly, face-wise. I don't know why people are so up on McKenzie Dern. She's kind of ugly, dude. Not in a rude way. I'm not the best-looking guy myself, but really, dude, McKenzie Dern's who's getting you going, dude. Why don't you look at Veronica Hardy? Now that's a lovely lady. Gillian Robertson, maybe with normal hair, wouldn't it be that bad? You know what? Jasmine Judavicius, that's also a lovely lady. That guy is so fun to troll. I'm not even excited for Dern versus Robertson. I'm more excited for Islam versus Garry than Dern Robertson. That's very true, Yuri. I think Dern Robertson could be funny. It'll be a very funny, like where I'm laughing a lot. I won't be impressed, but I'll be laughing. I hope Dern and Robertson are rolling around grappling Saturday. Sheila, I think you make it your wish. Do I think Amavov should be next for the title shot? He definitely should. He deserves it. I will say he made no push for the title shot when Chimaev was the champion, Muslim Brotherhood. So he made literally no push for the title. When Chimaev was champion, he was fine with Strickland getting the shot over him. But now that Strickland's the champ, he's doing this whole press tour, which I get it. He should be speaking himself to get the title. But I find it very strange. Radio silence from Amavov when Chimaev's the champion about him getting a title shot. And now that Strickland's beaten Chimaev, oh, where's my title shot, dude? You're running from me. Even though he got whooped up on by Strickland on short notice. I'm only excited for Dern Robertson. The 10-7 MMA, you might be outnumbered on people who like Dern Robertson. You might be outnumbered on being excited for Dern Robertson. Who do you got winning? Mustache, if you're talking about the main event, I have Garry losing to Islam Makhachev by submission in round 3 is what I have. If you're talking about the co-main event, which everyone's here for the co-main event, everyone's here for Robertson, Dern. I may actually pick Robertson to win by decision. I think she may just be a tough cookie. Imagine Dern misses weight by 2 pounds, so she removes it. Then Justin Gaethje comes in as a towel holder. Dana 60 G's, baby. Okay, so I was able to understand that. So, again, dude, I don't know if Dern looks that good down there. Maybe she waxes, so maybe, but I don't know, dude. This guy, 10-7, was the guy interviewing the 105 women's fighter who was trying to say the UFC needed to add a 105 women's division. Wow. By submission in round 3 is a good take, bro. Thank you, Mr. Mustache. I think round 3 is going to be Ian Garry's best round. I've said this a whole bunch of times, so I'll repeat it. Sound like a broken record, but I think round 1 is going to be Ian Garry's best round. He'll be light as a butterfly, stinging like not even a bee. He'll probably be stinging like a wet towel. Actually, no, a wet towel probably hurts. He'll be stinging like cotton. And then round 2, I think Islam's going to get used to that range, to that reach disadvantage that he has. He'll maybe get a takedown late round 2, and then round 3, I think Islam will get a takedown early and submit him like late to mid round 3. Yeah, it's better than 145. So you think the UFC should add a 105's woman division? Did you just say you like 105's women's over 145 women's? The height difference is minimal. To be fair though, 105 women's, that's just putting 2 teenage girls in a ring and telling them to fight, dude. That's just like That's just high school brawling. At that point, you have to allow hair pulling because that's their main weapon. When are they going to add hair pulling for WMA? When are they going to allow that, dude? That is their main weapon. Check any street fight. Women are pulling hair instantly. When is that going to be when is that going to be a legal move? Hair pulling should be legal in WMA. Yeah, bro, easily 145 is like there's like 4 good women in it ever. That's true. That's true. I think why don't we just get rid of the women's divisions, you know? I think we should be progressive. Have an all WMA card. What are we thinking? Instead of having these Apex, like a fight every week, we kind of take a break and we just do one night all women's fights. Who's with me? Who's with me? And put it on at like 1 in the morning. Put it on at like 1 in the morning. Then they should bring back 45 and just add women's heavyweights. Now, wait a minute. Sheila may be onto something. I don't think they should. I'm saying it's better. This guy knock out people when I touch them. They don't effing move. Bro, who the oof is that guy? One of my friends from high school used to bring smoked out cigs from Rhodes. Smoked that in class. Okay. Manny Marion might be on drugs. There's a possibility there's a chatter high on some sort of alcohol, some sort of illicit substance. We're not too sure. We're not too sure. Let's see. Who do I have to choose for a fight next? Send them back to Nvidia. Don't know what that means, but I agree, dude. I agree. Okay, who's the next fighter I got to choose? Well, I'm going with Gore submission round 2. I'm going with the Gore submission. I think he'll hurt Luque bad on the feet. Luque's going to shoot in, and he'll get a nasty guillotine. That's Gore's thing. He has a nasty standing guillotine. It's nasty. All right. Dante Johnson, Eric McConaughey. Why do I think Eric McConaughey could win? But he lost, he won a split decision over Brundage. That's actually pretty good. Dumas, he submitted pretty well. Women's probably should have gotten fight of the night last week. That first fight, I didn't watch, but I heard that was a banger. That was unironically a banger last week. Did they not? What got fight of the night last week? Was it the co-main? Oh, it was Billy Quarantillo, Diego Ferreira. Yeah, I do not think they deserve that. Shiloh, I got 2 male fighters on this week. 1 tomorrow, 1 Friday. Whoa! How you getting these fighter interviews, dude? Are you just like, Sam, what's up, dude? Let's do an interview. If so, maybe I'll just ask Bryce Mitchell for an interview. He'll probably respond to me, dude. He goes around streets looking for smoked out, crushed cigarettes on road, then he brings those to school, smokes it because his mother beats him if he smokes. Okay. That's pretty cool. That's cool. You know what, Manny Morani? That's pretty cool, dude. I'm plugged for him. Phone him? Really, dude? 10-7 channel is pretty good. Okay. I might watch it then. I only watch UFC. Like I said, I don't really watch this is really my first year of watching the UFC. I think my first card, what was my first hardcore where like I made my picks? I guess on the channel, my first hardcore card that I watched was UFC 322, Islam Makhachev JDM, which was the worst card ever. And you know what? I only got the main and co-main wrong. I got the underdog and Duncan beating Terrence McKinney. I got Protest round 2 KO over Edwards perfectly. I got the underdog and Morales round 1 KO over Sean Brady. And then I pick Zhang Wei Li and JDM to win by decision, dude. And guess what happens? Shevchenko and Ian Garry or Islam Makhachev happens. Ah. We only cover UFC, to be honest, barely other things. To watch a dude named Perry Punch, he's cool. Perry Punch? A dude named Perry Punch? On YouTube? Let's pull it up. When you say we, are you like a group channel 10-7? Or are you just saying we like it just like a royal we? Perry Punch. Manny Marion likes Perry Punch too. He's going to take over MMA YouTube eventually, mark my words. Well, we can add one more person, dude. Why are we counting out like me? Oh, he has 76,000 subscribers. You know what? Yeah, I can see that. 77,000 subscribers. Yes, we're a group channel. Oh, that's cool. Probably makes doing stuff easier, huh? So how does that work in terms of like, is there like the figurehead and then there's like an editor and then there's like something else? I like the duo factor for sure. Yeah, I met Yuri at Perry Punch Live. We both cool. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So y'all came over hand in hand, is what I'm hearing. Y'all came over hand in hand. Manny, is that a high five emoji? So that is hand in hand. I see. Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all coming over. Uh, Now, what are we thinking for Dante Johnson, Eric McConaughey? What are we thinking? Uh, Thoughts on Bilal Hassan on Dana White Contender Series? I did see MJ Diaz. I think he beat an Indian. I think he knocked out an Indian round one. If that's the guy I think you're talking about, MJ Diaz, I think he knocked out an Indian round one. Any other option? Any other option? If that fight went any other way, I'd be scared for for Bilal Hassan. But he looked good, you know. What happened? I think that Indian guy went for a low kick, counter right on the chin. Uh, I heard like Herb Dean let him die, let the Indian guy die. So that's classic. I heard a lot of people were saying the stench was too much for Herb Dean to handle, so he couldn't stop the fight. So that was fun. Honestly, Perry Punch Loki turns me. He removes his shirt live. Sometimes he's pretty well built. I'll submit him though. I do wrestling. Okay, Manny Marion. I'm glad you got that. I'm ecstatic for you. Thank you for that little for the tidbit. You know, I appreciate it. Had crop shot by decision. The Mexican should have won. I heard that guy may have been robbed. I was at work, so I had to listen to it. But I heard it was a pretty good. The thing about they need to learn. They need to stop putting these stupid heavyweight fights as the main and co-main events of the Contender Series. You either start with a heavyweight fight or you put a heavyweight fight somewhere in the middle. We can't be having heavyweight main events unless it's championship level heavyweights. There's no good heavyweights to have for a main event. At least in terms of having a competitive fight, you're never going to have too competitive, like a competitive, fun heavyweight fight at these lower levels. It needs to be high level championship stuff. Ask Yuri Perry Punch removes his shirt. Hey Yuri, does Perry Punch remove his shirt, dude? I'm gonna let you know, not in the books for this live stream. Possibly later in the future. Maybe that'll be a dono goal, dude. But for now, I think the shirt stays on. I do have flannel, so maybe I'll put on a flannel shirt. How about that? Next thing you do, got robbed, but that fight was effing miserable. It was that heavyweight co-main, huh? Yeah, I know. It's awful. I'm thinking Dante Johnson beats Eric McConaughey too, by the way, Shiloh. Yeah, he takes his shirt off. Surprise emoji, yelling emoji. Okay. Okay. So he does like a bit of a stripper kind of live stream. What does he look like? He did the oh no, he reacted to the interview of Ian Garry. He does shorts too, okay. It will be bad. It was bad. Okay, I see. You made cute. Thank you, Kate Gleason. I appreciate it. I did create cute in a lab. So I appreciate it. Oh, mad. I'm not mad at cute. Why would I be mad? Okay, dude. This Perry Punch guy's taking all that I've worked for. It's unacceptable. That's actually unacceptable. Dante gonna smoke him? You think Dante's gonna smoke McConaughey? I could see it, but if we're being honest, McConaughey looked pretty good against Surshakayev. You know, he did get finished in the third, but he was kind of giving Surshakayev some stuff, and then he beats Rodolfo Vieira, who apparently is so good for him to beat Gore. I appreciate it. Cade Gleason. I appreciate it. I should have only missed the Tom fight. Are you talking about the Contender Series that just happened? What Tom fight? Again, I couldn't watch it. Sursakayev is overrated. You know what, 10-7? I think you're actually truthing on that. I've been saying that. Sursakayev's not that good. And people will say it. Oh, he's playing with his food. He's playing with his food. Come on, pal. Perry Punch and M. Mano sometimes go live together. They both debate on something. On something most of the time. Perry Punch destroys him, but I wonder why he's so hairless like he talk all but with shaved body. Uh, hot emoji? Okay. I see it. Kind of a bad card. I agree. MMA fan for life. This is kind of. I'm gonna probably introduce my prediction video of UFC PFL 120 because this is a PFL card, brother. I don't lie. I never said you did, dude. I'm telling you a truther. I'm calling you a truther for saying Tsuchikayev's overrated because it's true, dude. It's true. You are super cute, so I'll tell you a little insider info. Gore is going to win this Saturday. You've already missed Cade Gleason. I've already picked Gore to submit Vincente Luque by round 2 submission. Gore's gonna slump Lupe. I'm thinking round 2 submission, dude. That high elbow guillotine. I like this card a lot. I think it has a lot of sleeper fun fights. Again, it's gonna do the same thing that always happens where it's not stacked in terms of name value, but there's a lot of fun, like potentially fun fights. So when it does become a fun card, Dana White's gonna say, "You guys don't know what you're talking about. This card was this was a sick card," and he's gonna make fun of you for saying this was a bad card, even though this is on paper an awful card. I'm going Anthony Smith on him. This is on paper a bad card. I'm not gonna go full Anthony Smith. Never go full Anthony Smith. But for now, I'm gonna go halfway Anthony Smith and say on paper this is kind of a bad card. Kind of a bad card. I spoke to him today. He said he's gonna win. Oh, Gore? That's sick, dude. I didn't possibly make fun of Gore earlier in his career, so if he asks about me, don't say anything. You know what I'm saying? If he goes, "Hey, what did By the Numbers say about me?" Don't bring it up. Okay? I said some mean things when he beat Bakoyev. Some mean things, and I didn't really mean it. I was just angry. I didn't really mean it. You know what I'm saying? We all have Charles Johnson to beat Jose Choya by decision too. Shiloh MMA. Don't forget, we are gonna say, or Shiloh Primetime, we're gonna choose Jose Choya to win by decision. Or sorry, Charles Johnson to beat Jose Choi by decision. Super cute boy, who did you pick for main card? For the main event or main card? For the main event, I have Islam Makhachev by round 3 submission. I have Gillian Robertson by decision because I think she's going to be a tough cookie. I have Charles Johnson by decision. I have Mansur Abdul Malik by KO in the second, and I have Esteban Ribovic by round 1 KO. Is that the main card? I think that's the main card. Gore, CJ, and Dante, friends of the channel. Oh, that's cool. Shrugging emoji. Anyone get weird vibes from Bilal Hassan? Bilal is sus. I didn't watch the fight. I just listened to it, but I know what weird vibes are we talking about? Who you got, Islam or Ian? I have Islam Makhachev. Main event, cute boy, cute boy. Okay, dude. It's like when Arthur Morgan got called pretty boy. All right, pretty boy. I'm not cute boy. All right, I'm a man. First of all, about to turn 21, so I'm a man. I'll have you know. My rugged facial hair just isn't in yet. All right, it's late. It's late in the mail, but my rugged facial hair and beard will be coming later. All right. You don't like Ian can get it done. You don't think. I think Ian Garry can get it done. This is what I said, Kevo. I said if Ian Garry wins, he's gonna win by decision the first 3 rounds, just staying really light and active and on that back foot. And I think he's gonna use a lot of energy to survive those first 3 rounds if he does even get them. And he'll have to survive rounds 4 and 5, and that's how he gets a win, in my opinion. But the more I see it, the more I see Islam Makhachev getting pieced up by Ian Garry in round 1, kind of getting used to the reach disadvantage. Round 2, he'll get a takedown, maybe late round 2, kind of work on some stuff. Won't really get in round 3. He'll get a takedown pretty early, submit Ian Garry like late round 3 is the plan. Islam Makhachev or Ian Garry, but sometimes Perry Punch supports Garry, but MMA Mano supports Makhachev. Then Perry gets angry low-key, licks his lips, but Mamo has full beard, can't see if he licks his lips. I'm going to stop licking my lips now because I think I recently licked my lips while reading that chat. So I'll suck on my lips instead of licking my lips because that Bilal gives weird vibes, but maybe it's because I'm a Van type of guy. Okay. My boy AWJZ MMA used to have a channel with Gore holding 2 belts on his YouTube profile pic. I like to think Gore was referring to him in his last post-fight interview. That's funny. He was talking shit in an interview about Van. All right, dude. This Hassan guy's about to get KO'd, dude, by roided up Timarov. All Jay-Z MMA has disappeared from the face of the earth, though. Okay, well, I will just take over his thing. Cute boy, you think Van wins against Pantoja? Okay, we keep on calling me cute boy. We're gonna have a problem, pal. By the numbers to you, pal. First name basis. But I do think Van wins. I picked Van to beat Pantoja the first time, which obviously was not a fluke. And then I picked Van to beat Tatsuro Taira by decision. Islam. Okay. LKS 203's gunning on the Islam train. Okay. Colby said bad things about Bilal first. Why everyone angry at Bilal now? No, different Bilal. Manny Marion. Different Bilal. I understand the confusion. Different Bilal. Don't talk to Kevo like that, please. Oh, I apologize. I apologize, Mr. 107. I didn't mean any Kevo. Bilal looked talented, but he was just a little sus. Okay. Bilal will come back. Bro, L-Ball. Wrong Bilal. But not Bilal. Do some research. Bilal Colby fight at RAF. Okay. You know what? I'm finally caught up. This is intense for me. I'm not used to this many chats. Different Bilal. Manny Marion. They're talking about the Bilal that fought on the Contender Series today. A couple hours ago. You're thinking of Bilal Muhammad and the welterweight division, who just lost to Gabriel Bonfim. Not UFC. Someone needs to do a steroid check for MMA. I was thinking about doing a video about how Manel Cap's just on steroids and no one cares. Thinking about doing that. Manel Cap is literally on steroids and no one seems to care. So that may be a video soon, Shiloh. Manel Cap #1 Shiloh on the lit with this man. His titty he need bra for his gyno list. Okay, #1 on the list. That's true. Like we were on it. We were on it, Cade Gleason. Manel Cap needs to be put in check. If we're being honest, Manel Cap needs to be put in check. He's done far too much. We had UFC today. We had Dana White Contender Series today, which is like it's like UFC on crack and steroids, because if they win, they get into the UFC, and if they lose, they go back to the construction site, most likely. So if you win and you need to get like a finish or a fun fight, you get a contract. Like you know how they always boast about Dana White Contender Series alumni that have won a belt? I've been saying everyone has been baiting and blasting lately, and I haven't seen barely anyone talking about it. Who else would you have? Cap, Timarov, but who else is steroiding? Do you think Adesanya, I think, is done using steroids? If he's still using them, my goodness, he's using some dud steroids if he's on a 4-fight losing streak. Is Islam on steroids? He had that little thing. O'Malley got caught on steroids for a little bit, apparently. I can only really think of Timarov and I guess Rizvan Kuniev got caught for steroids and now he's off it, and you know, Louis Sutherland was on steroids, but these are guys that were. Like the only person I can think where I can say like that guy's on steroids is Manel Cap. I know little bro Conor McGregor Chandler fight in that one time, not UFC. Okay. All right, my bad, not English cute boy, but yeah, his steroid usage is horrible. Like no one has that power at flyweight. Horiguchi was cooking him up until he used his steroid power and pulled off the shot out of his Okay, can you recap? Can you recap from the top your picks? Hey man, I mean that great. John Jones was on roids. A lot of people are on roids, dude. And then you know what? What bugs me so much is if you say John Jones was on roids, they go, well, everyone was on roids at that point. Oh, that doesn't matter. He still cheated. Everyone was on steroids, so him cheating doesn't matter at all. No, that just means they all cheated. That's all that means. Come on, pal. Come on, pal. Okay, recap. Recap, Mr. Sally Pandit. So I have Islam Makhachev by round 3 submission. I have Gillian Robertson by decision. Bit of an underdog. I'm going to pick that because I think Robertson's a little tougher than Dern. She'll tough it out. I have Charles Johnson by decision over Jose Ochoa. All right. I have Mansur Abdul-Malik by round 2 KO over Dustin Stolfus. He's a punching bag. I have Esteban Ribovic by round 1 KO over Edson Barboza. I have Joel Alvarez by, I think, decision. He could KO Njokuani. I'm going to say late rounds KO, probably round 3 KO for Joel Alvarez. I have Dante Johnson by decision over Eric McConaughey. I have Trayshawn Gore round 2 submission over Vicente Luque. I have Rafael Tobias by decision over Lucas Fernandez. I have Ramiz Brahimash by round 1 submission over Neil Magny. And I have Maitek Orblai round 2 submission over Jeremiah Wells. That's the recap for my picks. All right, I haven't picked on Jalen Turner, Cowboy Fernandez yet. All right, not yet. Manel, at least last week. I mean the great... Cute boy, I'm going to need a straight face when you read this, okay? Well, my face doesn't look like John Jones, so it is a straight face. You know what I'm saying? And then over half the fighters on the Guskov card were on roids. I know, I didn't realize this, but stupid... Who's the guy that beat Alonzo Minifield last? Who's the guy that beat Alonzo Minifield? The last fight. He got suspended for roids. Forgot. What's up, dude? What's up, Ricky LaFleur? We're doing some live stream predictions. I've done most of the fights. My last fight that I need to predict is Jalen Turner, Cowboy Fernandez. I'm thinking Cowboy Fernandez, but I could see Jalen Turner getting it done. Has a reach advantage, has a height advantage, 4-foot height advantage, or 4-inch height advantage. Actually, no. He has a 6-inch height advantage over Cowboy Fernandez. And a 2.5-inch reach advantage. Volkan Ozdemir. Thank you, Shiloh. Volkan Ozdemir got suspended for roids, which I didn't know that until recently. Because I saw an Alonzo Minifield fanboy just be very upset that, people are making fun of Alonzo Minifield. Bilal fighting Israel Adesanya in the rematch. Okay. Manny Marion, you might be in a different universe. Like when, what was that one fighter when Ode Osborne, I don't know if y'all saw that, but Ode Osborne was, him tweeting like he was in a different universe was so funny for a little bit, and then he did it for like a month straight, and it was very worrying. But you may be in a different universe, Manny Marion. Might be in a different universe, possibly. Turner gonna win, cute boy? Are we like insulting me, or like is this cute boy just like you're just, it's like a compliment, like it's genuine? It could be genuine. I'm not gonna hold it against you for it to be genuine. So I'm gonna assume this is genuine and not like a little diss or sarcasm. The Habib brother? So Umar? You mean Umar Nurmagomedov? There was someone Volkan beat that just fought who I couldn't rate the loss because he popped. Volkan beat who just fought. He fought Minifield. He beat Minifield. He beat Guskov. He beat Guskov. Manny Marion, for F's sake, it's not Bilal, it's Bilal. Two different people. This is the upset year, but we don't want Ian to win. Jean Pork. Trust, I know ball. Which one are you talking about? Me? Which one? I'm confusing you? Which one am I talking about? Oh, you're talking about for Bilal. So we're just going to hash this out right now. Bilal, Muhammad, UFC fighter, welterweight. Bilal Hassan, he's now a UFC fighter. He just got signed. He's a flyweight. Okay? Two different guys. Cute boy, you Irish. No, I'm not Irish. I'm not. Jean Pork, I do think It's Chanko, brother. It's Chanko, brother. Chanko. Chanko. Um, I do think Ian Garry will be very funny if he wins, though. I don't want Ian Garry to win, but I think it'd probably be the funniest thing ever if Ian Garry wins. Probably the funniest thing ever, just because he's vegan. The reason he can't win is because he's vegan. He has no strength. He an Irish American accent. I'm actually Mississippian, dude. So get it right. For Mississippi, dude. So get it right, pal. Get it right, pal. But I think you can't. You can be American but Irish descent. Is it the nose? Is that the giveaway? I have teal eyes, is what I've been told. Is it the big nose? Is it the very nice eyebrows? Is it the loaf of head hair? Nah, zero Irish roots. Okay, Sean Coe, just getting it off. Ricky Lafleur, WP for life? What does this mean? Ricky Lafleur, what do you mean by WP for life? Will pay? Manny Marion Bilal is the welterweight. He is Islam clone. And Bilal is the flyweight starboy. He has Gyno. Okay, there we go. Ked Gleason just laid it out flat for you, Mary Meeson. Or Manny Marion. Would you be preferred for Marion or Manny, by the way? Let's just go by first name on everyone, you know? I call Ricky, but I like to say Lafleur. So sometimes I will say Ricky Lafleur. Islam versus Sean Teeps and Jabs. Who wins? Strickland? I'd honestly maybe say Strickland. Maybe Strickland, honestly. But Islam won't gas out as bad as Chimaev. But I think Strickland's very good. I think he's very good on that light lead leg, too. So it's easier for him to check and not be affected by Islam's low kicks at range. But he can't really teep. He just jab. I would maybe say Strickland. I think Strickland may be a little too big for Islam. Glad we could clear that up. Okay. Makhachev head looks like a boulder. Them daggies be eating horse. But one thing we should notice when they fight is that Habib says smash brother. Your guy taps like chicken. When Max Holloway also tap. Okay. And just like that, poetry was written in chat. Just like that, poetry was written. I already know Bilal. I thought you got confused. He from Habib. Bilal Muhammad? I guess he's from Habib. He may have had that visible panic face when he saw Sean wasn't falling for his takedown so good. It was very funny. I picked Strickland to win that, and I mean, I think you could probably watch back. I have the live fight companion up of me watching Strickland beat Hamza Chimaev. I was losing my mind. I was very obviously losing my mind. Manny Marion, what the actual heck are you saying? I'm going to send you to Dagestan for 2 to 3 years. Jean Pork and DC are going to Eiffel Tower you. Manny Marion, he says that in a nice way, by the way. That was not insulting that he said that. Now, Kawhi Fernandez, Jalen Turner. Shiloh, I know you think Kawhi Fernandez wins. He is the underdog. Actually, never mind. Fernandez is the underdog. We're going with the Fernandez KO. When does Jalen Turner get KO'd, though? Whoa. Same with Tapori versus Gaethje. Unkier it is. It is. But I think if you think about Unkier, Islam's older than Ian. So, boom. Point for Islam. Don't hear that most of the time. Jalen Turner's been KO'd twice in the first, once in the second, once in the third. Lost a split decision with Dan Hooker, Tayish Gamrot. Lost to Matt Frivola. Yeah. CCMH, cheeks clapping. Man, he would be tapping. I'm in on the no. You can't get it past me. Cool. Look, man, unless it's Drew Dober, Turner isn't looking. Turner quits when he gasses, which is at the end of the second. I'm thinking, I don't know, it may be Tom's that weight cut bad, brother. He was also training with Armin. Maybe he was about to travel if he fights in Dagestan. Strickland not going round 2. Why always fight in the U.S.? Come Dagestan, let's talk. Jean Pork, it's been unkier last year, so far this year. Well, Manny Marion, Strickland had his right shoulder torn and broken. So, also, why is Strickland can only fight in USA? I wouldn't be surprised if Strickland can only fight in the USA because uh, of the same reason Shanko can only fight in anywhere but the US. I would not be surprised if he has charges outside of the US, man. Turner Hooker was a banger. I was there. Now, how would you recommend fights, Mister 10-7 MMA? I've never been to an actual fight. Like I said, the only fight I've really been to is just uh, is sparring at my kickboxing gym. But it's sick. But I also think it's probably a better visual experience to watch from home. So I would like to know your thoughts. I had to block Manny. He's mental. Manny, I won't block you, dude. I'll listen to your psychotic ramblings. White P for life. Thank you, Ricky. Manny Cope. Drew Dober versus Bobby Green. Who are you taking? Cade Gleason. That's already happened. That's already happened. And let me just say, Drew Dober unleashed his full power. He unleashed his full power against Bobby Green. Now, if you're talking about Drew Dober, Jalen Turner, we also know that. I picked Drew Dober against Michael Johnson, round 2 KO. I think we know how that fight went. Xavier Biviano. Yo, hello. You kind of look like Movsar Evloev. So you come into my chat and you insult me by saying I look like Movsar Evloev? You might as well say my girlfriend's 15, dude. What are we doing, dude? By the way, she's not. I don't have a girlfriend. But if I did look like Movsar Evloev, I'd probably be hanging outside of high schools. Anyways. Xavier, I'm going to assume that you meant that as a compliment. Going to assume you meant that as a compliment. And I appreciate it. He looks like Dream, but higher BF and not autistic. Okay. Thank you, Shanko. I don't know what Dream looks like, but I'm sure Dream's a handsome guy. It's usually better at home unless you have great seats, but the experience is fun. Okay. Let's go, Mr. 10-7. I would probably wait if I the plan would be to get like a job. The UFC just need to give me a job where I just get to watch their fights for free. Why can't they just do that? Johnson beat Dober by sub. King Car of France. What dimension are you living in? Michael Johnson did not beat Drew Dober by sub. Unless I'm crazy. Maybe I was crazy. I took Drew Dober as well. Easiest bread of all time. Well, this guy doesn't know Bilal fight, also an RAF. He talking about ball. Now he looks like Sergio Pavlovich, or he looks like Mark V. You know what? I've been told I look like Trey McBride. On the Arizona Cardinals. That's what I've been told I look like, is Trey McBride. Oh. Like if I buzz cut, maybe I would look like Trey McBride. I don't know. It's different from UFC. Oh, I gotta go up. Okay. You guys lost money on Jober versus Michael Johnson. King Care France is in a different dimension, I think. Yeah, no disrespect. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Xavier. MJ is undefeated, beat Habib and yeah, okay. So King Car of France is in a different dimension. That's good to know. Colby Arman, cheeks clapping. Man, homie would be tapping. That's true. Colby embarrassed Arman Sarukian. What's your favorite UFC card? UFC 323 is probably one of the sickest cards. The only thing that was bad about it was the Van Pantoja, how that ended up. But UFC 323 was sick. UFC 322 was going to be sick until the main and co-main. So one of those. If you're talking about fight nights, the Seattle one was actually pretty sick recently. If you want a job with the UFC, you just need to be Jewish like Jaden Cable. Nothing wrong with that, UFC moderators. Or YouTube moderators. Are you part of the White P Association Ghost Fist Lightning Lightning. If Yuri's a part of it, I am. You look like Josh Dobbs on Arizona card. You got a little Jake Matthews. Okay. You know what? Jake's pretty good looking, so I won't hate that. Drew Dober slimes out Bobby Green. Body cam off. Pats now. On the Pats card? Okay. Pretend I'm John Jones. I ask you, let's go out for some drinks, babe. Or hang out, whatever, 10 p.m. I would say no, Shanko. What does body cam off mean? What is body cam off? Okay, now Shiloh's saying I look like a grown up Rally from Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Okay, I will be doing more push ups in my free time because he said that now. I'll be doing more push ups. It's bad. It's unflattering camera angle. You know, back here, I look a lot better. Back here, you know, a lot better. But, you know, and also probably look better from above and like to the side and stuff. So, you know, it's like just bad angle. Bad angle. Body cam off means not things are going to happen, by the way. King Car France. DC, when commentary people think he fat guy always eating, also dark skinned, but 15 years before he was fighting in UFC, he was champion, beat John Jones, Habib DC trained UFC in Dagestan. Thank you for the poem, Mary Moran. I appreciate it. Can someone help me get into the sport? I just started watching after McGregor. Yeah, this guy's in a. Oh, you mean after the McGregor card? Watch UFC 329. Watch UFC 329. That's also a sick card. What's your UFC pound for pound rankings? Josh Dobbs on the Patriots. Right, let me search up Josh Dobbs. Then. Hey, Cled Gleason? Yeah, dude. It's very hard not to ban you. It is very hard not to ban you right now. I mean, getting banned might be in your future. And some dream matchups. Pound for pound ranking, number 1 Islam, number 2 Volk, number 3 at this point. Guys on like a crazy win streak. Oliveira, honestly, at this point, Oliveira's back up in this pound for pound rankings. He should be higher. Dream matchup, I would love to see Aspinall gone. I'd love to see Islam Taporia, even though it doesn't look that good anymore. I'd still love to see it. I'd love to see Sean O'Malley, Piotr Yan. I never watched the first fight. I actually need to watch Sean O'Malley, Peter Yan 1, but I'd love to see that live again. If you refuse John Jones, either gonna be you or in you regardless. What about Yuri? That's a good fight. That's a did someone ask one of my favorite just got here. Have you talked about Ocha Johnson? I think Ocha puts on a clinic. Bob Jones, I think Johnson gets a decision win. He has the underdog buff that he gets, and he's also against a rising prospect. He's getting another buff from that. So I would say that Johnson wins against Ocha by decision. I think it'll be kind of a boring one where he just stays at range. Yes, King Car France, watch Yuri. I did watch UFC 329. Watch UFC 3 what was Alex Pereira Ankalaev 2 with Yuri Prohaska, Khalil Roundtree? Is that 320? Watch UFC 320, King Car France. Broski, no, I did your thing. I'm a little behind. I apologize to everybody. I'm not used to this many chats. Yuri is a fighter. Watch Ocha versus Carpenter. That was a sick fight. He pieced him up, dude, like nastily. No way, lol. So they do these big events every year, every month. King Car France, they do a main card pay per view where it's gonna be probably a championship fight, maybe 2, and in between that are fight nights where it's kind of you build up to a fighting contender. My bad, King. Did you watch UFC Fight Pass? That's where you go to watch all past fights. Are you talking about me or King Car France? If you're talking about King Car France, that's a good place. Fight Pass is good. I have Fight Pass. It's not that good though. I'm Drake May. You know what? I don't hate the Drake May comparison. I appreciate it. Is Yuri like Conor McGregor? In terms of entertainment, he is King Car France. Bob Jones, Clayton Carpenter is a wrestler. Can someone teach me self-defense? I can't do that. Go watch Ocha Kavanaugh, Bob. That's a sick fight. Ocha Striker's not as good as Charles. That's true. Oh man, I got Bryce Walker from 13 Reasons Why is now live on YouTube talking about UFC younger. Okay. I see that, Sean Coe. Sean O'Malley. I love Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is champ right. No, he's not champion. He could be champion soon though. Sean O'Malley's sick. Johnson's bigger and longer. Okay, that's very sus to say. Shiloh. Jose will need a wrestling control to beat Charles. He will lose a kickboxing fight. You're actually slow if you think Johnson striking is better. Okay, just look up UFC 320 on Fight Pass or Paramount. King Car France. How many years ago was this? This was October last year. Was UFC 320. Every couple months, it's a new numbered event. So about 10 months ago was UFC 320. Stay tuned. I was just watching UFC 329, I think. Yuri gives mercy. King Vaughn slimes out fake grappler. Chiefs clapping Hooker a zest fest. Marab Jacuzzi with Sean O'Cook. Pereira BBL shake. Bobby Green humbles random boxer. Dean the bum slapped. Okay. I think that's a YouTube search bar, is what Kate Gleason just say. King Car France watched DC versus John Jones. You might actually have seen him commentary in the UFC, but he's actually a UFC fighter. He doesn't fight anymore because Habib and him retired together off respect of Habib's father. That's true. I know who John Jones is, King Car France. What does UFC stand for? Thank you, 10-7 MMA. UFC stands for the Ultimate Fighting Competition or Championship. Is it championship? It may be championship. Is it John Jones, the guy who did steroids and robbed everyone to win? King Car France already knows ball. That's correct. He did rob all of his opponents. John Jones is Duck. My teammate John Pork, like the animal. Silence. What fighter would you be most chillest to hang out with? I think the most chill fighter to hang out with, I think Joshua Van's pretty chill, but he's a little, like, you could tell he's a young guy. I think he's a year younger than me. I think we're the same age. I think we're close to the same age. Chill. Khalil Rountree's in the Colt, so I can't say him. JDM, probably JDM. JDM looks very chill. I was asking about Duck. Don't disrespect me. DC was also on roids, 7,000 testosterone level before the fight. Look it up. I get really mad. They say Duck because he didn't fight Tommy. He know he already lost. If he retires, so he retire. You don't want to mess with me when I'm mad. King Car France is seeing red when he's angry. Have you watched Van Tyra? Also look up Larry and Douglas. He fights in 2 weeks, and you're going to want to keep an eye on him. That's very true. He watched UFC 329, Bob Jones, so he should have seen Tara Van. Van like the car, laughing. Cara, John Jones is actually a great guy. It's actually Vaughn. No way he isn't the bad guy. Isn't he the bad guy? Yeah, but he's the 125 champ. So look up Vaughn versus Tyra. 125 champ. No, 125 times champ. No, his weight class is 125 pounds. He's the 125 pound champ. Tyra, what is wrong? You guys, you boxing guys have so many fights. This is UFC, not boxing. You want to chill with Orblai? I don't know, dude. Orblai misses weight a lot. He may be Orblai may be hitting rocks together for fun. Like whereas JDM may just scroll on his phone to like chill out, Orblai, he's banging rocks together. He's rubbing sticks together. I don't know what Orblai's going to be doing for fun. I'm just trying to get into the sport. Van versus Tyra was not on UFC 329. It wasn't? Rip King Vaughn? What's your prediction? I saw UFC 329. What's my prediction for the main event? Islam Makhachev by round 3 submission. Are you sure? UFC 329. Let me check. Oh, you're right. It's 328. I'm an idiot. You're right. I apologize. King Cara France, watch UFC 328. Who's Orblai Rocks Sticks? Orblai boat hat. That's all you need to know. King Cara. King Cara. Is that allowed in a UFC fight? Okay, if you don't know King Car France, just look up Mytek Orblai, and you will see that he has possibly been thawed from ice recently. He's possibly been thawed from ice. John Jones, good guy when he's not fighting, but he gets mad. But this is UFC. You can't be friends. That's why people say this one time. When he fight Rampage, he was knockout, so he sometimes fight DC. Okay. That's true. Boat hat. Mytek Orblai does have a boat hat. He just does. He does. I made it back to the top of the chat, by the way. Hey, King Kyra, look up Larry and Douglas Contender Series Knockout. If you see that clip, you'll see how insane he is. Yes, Boathead, that's all you need to know. My tech or a blot. I'll tell you how to spell it. All right. Look up. Oh, actually, let me post it in chat. John Jones is good, but couldn't finish Anthony Smith. I'm attacking my family. Douglas is really good. Bob, you know ball. John Jones is effing up O'Malley. Okay. He is heavyweight. You guys seem like really mad people. Don't talk bad about O'Malley. Only gloves allowed inside ring. They even check nails done before entering the fight. If you see entering the ring, if you see before they fight. O'Malley's a really cool dude. He is. Sometimes a cuck, but I think he stopped that. I think he stopped that. All right, search up that King Car France. Search up. That's how you spell his name. The only thing John Jones is effing up is his man of a wife who attacked their family. John Jones attacked his own family, and then Anthony Smith attacked his own family. Kind of a full circle kind of thing. Okay, let me search him. You will see him thawing out of ice. Stop attacking Anthony's family, Kaikar, France. O'Malley is chill, but John Jones is effing him UL up. How does O'Malley's hair color change every time? Is that a question for, that may be a question for Kaikar France, King Cara France. Kaikar France, if you're just now watching the UFC, why do you have Kaikar France as your thing? How old is that dude? 3,000 years old? He looks 40. I think he's 3,000 years old. My take Orblai 28,000 years, 6 months and 5 days. This is my take Orblai's age. He retired. If you could build a fighter whose cardio, power, submission, and defense footwork would you pick, etc.? Cardio, I think Peter Yan actually had some crazy cardio against Merab. So I will say Peter Yan for cardio. I'm only going to use, this is my brother's YouTube channel. Oh, I see. So are you Australian or do you just like Kaikar France? I'm on my iPad. Okay. Are you Australian or does your brother just happen to like Kaikar France? We share a YouTube. Okay. Is attacking your family best base for MMA or Zest? Break it down if you know ball. Well, Anthony Smith did awful, but Jones did good. BJ Penn did decent, and he went crazy. Zest, Dan Hooker, so maybe not Zest. Maybe neither. Do you think O'Malley is into guys because of the hair? He made me watch McGregor fight. I see. No, he's into tortas. Yeah, I'm Maori. Okay. So that's why you like Kaikar French. You ain't got a hold of the same EPO Merab was holding. Hold on, did you just say Peter Yan cardio over Merab? Did you not see the Peter Yan rematch? Dude, Yan was cardio mogging Merab in the rematch. You can't lie. 10-7 MMA. Look at the Merab Yan rematch. He was mogging Merab in the cardio. Mogging him. If we're talking about pure cardio, Yan was doing unspeakable things to Merab in that rematch, dude. He was slapping him. He was lapping him in terms of cardio. Picking him up, dunking him, body kicks, his 1-2s down the pipe, his overhand lefts. Just all the time. Luke or Gore, I have Gore. Peyton Talbot, Miles Morales. Come on, man, lock in. Oh, I did forget, but I also think of Dan Hooker, dude. Kate Gleason, so that kind of brings it down. What camera are you recording on? It feels like I'm watching a video in 2010. I'm using a Logitech. Watch my older videos, you'll see I was using my laptop camera, but I'm using a Logitech now. Merab was always blatantly on EPO. My brother always uses UFC moves on me. Okay. Can anyone tell me how to defend myself against my brother? Nut shots, dude. At that point, if you're untrained and you're against a trained fighter, go for nut shots, dude. It's the best choice. Would you let Frank Ocean caress you for a media pass? No, I would not, Clay Geeson. I would not. John Jones, one time in the backstage before fight, he meets Habib. You can search Habib footage. Habib shadowbox it. Scares John Jones because Habib DC retire after Habib. That's why John Jones last fight DC he take. Okay. Thank you, Manny Moran. Still a psychopath. I remember one time he grabbed my neck and made me tap without getting a chance to run or anything. Yeah, King Car France, that's when you just go for the balls, dude. Rip Geiger, France, Izzy and Dan Hooker and Carlos Olberg. What a sandwich. They are probably destroying Geiger, France as we speak. Can someone give me tips to stop getting grabbed? All right, so if grabbed by the neck, you're done for. Maybe you go for the inside joint, but I don't know. Do you not know Marab cut weight 4 times that year and had a miserable 1 that time? The other 20 fights say otherwise. I get it, but also, what makes the fight against Shannon different than the fight against Sandhagen, which was arguably his best fight? If if I would get that point since MMA if like Morale was looking worse and worse as the year went on, but his best fight was the fight right before the end fight against Sandhagen. And he cuts weight the same way across all those fights. So what makes the Yan fight any different? How he cut weight? I know, like you said, for the last extra time, maybe that was just the straw that broke the camel's back, but still, you know. King Car France let me use cross sniffer against you. He punches me for real if I not shot. For media pass, why not? Chase Gooner Hooper taught me. Okay, you'll be super chinny if Chase Hooper taught you. He doesn't punch me; he just grabs me like Habib. Knee to the balls and high pokes Kara. I need real help. Juggle his balls. He always grabs my legs. Wait, Car France, are you Australian? Ever heard of Marwan Rahiki? He's against Marwan Rahiki, Tommy McMillan on UFC Noche, and he throws me down to the floor. Your brother's getting real close to. I just want to be able to hold my own. No, I'm from New Zealand. New Zealand. Gee, okay. John Jones, one-time elbow guy during wrestling in UFC, but that time John Jones disqualified. That's when he got lost. Now UFC allowed. It was changed. Habib and John Jones both undefeated. Thank you, Manny Moran. Just giving me tidbits and little stories. I appreciate the stories you're giving me, Manny Moran. King Car France, look up Gable Steveson hiccup. I think you mean loophole. If you figure out what the hiccup is to do it on your brother, you can be at UFC and spar with John Jones. You can learn YouTube from wrestling. I do it. Okay. If you're like 5'3", if you're 5'3" like Car France, you'll never be able to. What should I look up? Okay. Zalal versus Pico. Who you got? Probably Pico. I think Pico could do really good. Zalal just doesn't have that striking kind of potential to make Pico shy away. I think Pico would get into a zone, into a groove, and probably start piecing him up in the second and third. Habib video wrestling. The 4th time he did it, he wasn't even rehydrated. You could see when he left the house that day, it was gonna be bad. My bleep. Larry Douglas Any White Contender Series knockout. If you haven't yet, that's a good one. He also fought. What card did he fight Julian Rosa on? That's also a good fight for Larry and Douglas. How to buy a gun in New Zealand. Don't search that up. King Car France. Dog, you're still live? I am. I've been live for 2 hours. Dang, you're still alive. My brother laughs every time he throws me down. He keeps saying I'm defenseless. I just want to hold my own and get my brother's respect to stop. Elbow him is what Manny Moran says. Wait, bro, you don't know what hiccup is Gable Steveson? I don't. I'm 5'6", my brother's 5'10". John Jones is my inspiration for growing up. I don't want to hit him. I just want to get him off me so he respects me more. Okay. Volk versus Holloway type situation for you, King Kyra. Use the force and circle with the jab along with some leg kicks. All right, he doesn't want to hit him, Cade Gleason. No hitting. Aspinall are gone. Probably Aspinall. Brian Witowski. I just think Aspinall's more well-rounded. What's the force and what circle? Okay, I'm just going to let you know right now, King Car France. You're shorter. Are you strong? All right, we need to know this. How old are you? How old are you, King Car of France? Also, make sure to subscribe on your brother's account, all right? Subscribe on your brother's account, make a new account, and then subscribe to me on that account. Just, that's how you have to unlock these tips, is you have to do all of that. To unlock the tips, you have to do all of that. All right, flying knee it is. How do I leg kick? Just tickle his berries. No, we can't do that, IDK. We cannot be doing that. And John Jones, I hope he is not your inspiration. I'm 13. Ooh. Does he flying leg kick? Look at Connor versus Holloway, not the sellout. 13 is too old. Yeah, I love Aspinall. Seems people are turning to Gon, but I still believe. I still believe in Aspinall too. I'm just scared for the ring rust. But I think after seeing how Aspinall was doing against Gon and how Gon did Pereira, I feel a lot better. And how Gon did against Volkov. And Volkov beat Gon in the last fight, which is crazy. Maybe Ian Garry can kick Makhachev because in case Habib and the Makhachev in between rounds, they give 2-minute breaks. Sometimes in wrestling cannot take break. It depends on why that's why Garry don't wrestle. Why can't we? Why can't we what? Oh no, we can't hit because King Car France doesn't want to hurt his brother. Isn't Habib fighting this week? Don't joke about Connor. Habib is not fighting this week. Habib's protege, Islam Makhachev, is fighting this week. Habib brother. I think he's his cousin? Or like somebody he took in. I don't know if Islam's related to Habib. I hope he loses for what he did to Volk. Do you like Volk, King Car of France? Do you like Alexander Volkanovski? If you want to learn how to wrestle, just watch every single Alexander Volkanovski fight. And that should probably get you to learn. Why didn't Habib punch his opponents? He did. Thoughts on Herb Dean? We need to talk about this. If this MF need to redeem himself, getting booed before a fight is embarrassing. Bad luck. Especially with he win Oliveira fight with Ilya. Yeah, Herb Dean's been kind of he's getting dementia. He's getting CTE. Herb Dean is getting CTE just from watching fights, which is crazy. Magny or Ramirez? I have Ramirez. Keno cashed. I have Ramirez by round 1 submission. Jake Matthews submitted Magny in round 1 technically, so I think Ramirez can do the same thing. We need a retired UFC headline by Conor and John Jones as the main fight. That could be fun. Islam TKO Ian in the 4th. I have a round 3 submission, Jay Rumi. Islam can't hold down Ian Garry for 5 rounds. I don't know. Shavkat was holding down Ian Garry pretty well, Blazing Thunder. See who breaks their leg first. That could work. Is that the guy who does cooking shows? That's true, King Car of France. Cooking with Volk. I've seen a fighter from Australia who does a cooking show on TV. That's probably Alexander Volkanovski. If you want to learn to wrestle, just watch Alexander Volkanovski fights, dude. Just watch that guy. He was really short. That's why it works out, dude. He's doing it while really short. You can learn that way. You can learn. Prime Volk versus Prime Charles. Who you got? Probably Prime Charles, but Prime Charles is a lot more reckless. But I think Charles is more dangerous than Islam, so I'd probably go with Charles at that point. Prime Volk was a little chinny. Ilya got knocked out by Justin Gaethje, but Habib submit Justin. That's true. That's true. I thought it was a joke. It's not a joke. Alexander Volkanovski is still the current featherweight champion of 145 pounds in the UFC. Technically not. Matthews lost that fight. He did lose the fight, but I'm saying Matthews got to basically a submission position over Magny in round 1. I think Ramirez, who's better up on the feet and on the ground, can do that and actually get the submission. How do I defend myself from my little sister? IDK, you're done for. If you can't defend yourself against a little sister, it's done. Islam can hold Ian Garry for most of the round, 3 to 3.5 minutes. That's enough to win. Yes, Ishan Garwell. I think he'll win by a round 3 submission. Is he good? Volkanovski? Yeah, I think he's pretty good. 22 fight win streak. He won 22 fights in a row at one point, so I would say he's good. No, he was not. Did you even watch Shavkat versus Ian Garry? Shavkat took him down 2 out of 10 times. What did I say? Islam can't hold Garry for 5 rounds. Yeah, but Shavkat I think is worse than Islam Makhachev, if I'm being honest. Islam has lighter man skill, and he does a lot more crafty trips, whereas Shavkat tries to throw you off balance to take you down. Islam is a lot better trapping one leg and then using that other leg and kicking out that rear leg. Whereas Shavkat likes to throw you down to the ground, and because Ian Garry has very good balance, it's hard for him to get taken down. You search him up. Jake Matthews is horrible. He is. And he almost submitted Magny in round 1. Alexander Volkanovski. That's right, King Car of France. I'm training with Charles of Oliveira to avoid submissions. That's sick, J. Rumi. I hope that's true. The audio is off, so I see your lighting. Vatoloco.com. Slick7. You're lying. He's just too big. 22 is crazy. That's true. Kind of intimidating. Will IDK wheel kick? Wheel kick? Possibly. Shavkat is worse than Ian. I would, maybe. Then how? I don't know. Seems like UFC has given Paramount enough what they had to do this year. Like they made the return, yeah, with the big blockbuster card they've done. That's true. Does anyone here train UFC? I kickbox. I don't train UFC. I did grapple for a little bit. I was friends with a white belt guy, and he wanted to grapple, and the poor kid, I kept on submitting him. But I'm not like a good grappler. I'm not going to delude myself. I'm not a good grappler, but I can kickbox a little bit. Islam is better everywhere. That's true. Islam for the win. Shavkat was able to hold down Ian Garry, which is not true at all. Did I? I misspoke then. I think Shavkat was able to get Ian Garry down, and he was able to outwork Ian Garry. I think Islam's better than Shavkat. How do I find a UFC gym? If you're just search up. Honestly, if you just search it up, you probably could be able to find one like UFC gym, or I would search up like MMA or kickboxing gym. Because UFC gym's not going to be a thing. It's probably MMA gym or UFC gyms near me, like into Google, and you could probably find something. John Jones, one time Habib father says John Jones best fighter in UFC, but Habib want to impress. That's why he started training from young, and also brothers, they join UFC. They win, become champ. True, Manny Marion. True. Manny Marion is on crack cocaine for those new to the live stream. Plus, Shavkat is way more impressive, massive than Islam. So Garry counter grappling of a much bigger welterweight. I get it. But Islam has lighter man skill, and I think he's, like I said, the way he gets people down is a lot different than Shavkat. A little bit more. He's a little bit more finesse. He has more finesse when taking people down. Shavkat kind of just throws you down to the floor. Hello, fine cousin. Hello, the real Drew Dober. Do I look like Drew Dober? Possibly. How do I get a belt? You have to win. Take your shirt off. No, Drew Dober. I love to train UFC. Josh Dobbs and I kickbox here and there. We need to work on grappling. That's cool. God bless you, bro. You have a great stream. Thank you, Adonis Goat 7. What's the difference from UFC and MMA? They're the same thing. UFC is just the company that is the most massive MMA. Like, the UFC is MMA, but MMA is like a sport. The UFC it's like the NFL. Football's a sport, but the NFL is the biggest company that does that sport. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what for Australia, so NFL is the best I can say. If Georges St. Pierre never lost to Matt Serra, does he become even more dominant? Maybe. I think sometimes you need to lose, though, IDK. Sometimes you need to lose. I think that was good for GSP. Get that feeling of a loss so that he can then come back even better. Sometimes you have to lose to really learn what you're weak at. There's a breakdown of why it's technically impossible to stop Islam's takedowns. You have to get up. He takes a single leg and trips you with the other one. That's very good, Asian. That's what I'm thinking. Power, if you are just Australian, go train with Dan Hooker. He's really good at grappling. No, King Car friends, don't train with Dan Hooker. Do not train with Dan Hooker, dude. No, diff. UFC is the promotion. MMA is the art, mixed martial arts. You want to watch Quillian versus Justin? That'd be a sick fight. That could happen, but I think Justin retires. Or he'll fight one more time and then he'll retire. There are multiple leagues. What does UFC mean? Ultimate Fighting Championship or competition. One of the two. It's just a place where you can do MMA for money. So MMA is the sport. You don't get money from doing MMA. You get money from being in the UFC. That's the difference. It's like how you can learn to play an instrument, but you don't get paid to do an instrument to play the instrument. You have to go to a company that'll pay you for playing the instrument. UFC is when they can do wrestling and also box, but MMA is from Asia. They do not wrestle, only boxing. You look like a school bully from the 2000s films. I've heard that twice now. I do not know if this is the same account saying that, or I've been just that I happen to get the same. I'm not going to say insult because that's actually a compliment, so thank you. Twice? Cute boy, what state are you in? I'm not telling you that. You psychopath, Cade Gleason. United Fighting Cooks. That's not the name. Can someone give me a fight to watch? I'll come back and let y'all know what I think. Watch Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 1. If you gave every UFC fighter perfect preparation, perfect health, and no injuries, what would be the greatest of all-time conversation completely change? Would the greatest of all-time conversation be completely changed? Could be. I think so, but I think you can never have a perfect fight, so it's a little hard to say. Like, part of fighting is, can you work through damage? Can you work through getting hurt in camp and stuff? Thank you for helping me, guys. What's MVP? That's Most Valued Productions. That's a new MMA promotion. He's the fighter. He is also a fighter. Garry got pressed up against Cage at will versus Shavkat. Islam's better at the fence, blazing thunder. That is true. Islam's very good at using the fence and glove grabbing to get you down. Than Shavkat, a lot better. Shavkat just kind of, because Shavkat's so tall, it's kind of, when you're taller than someone, it's almost hard to get down to their hips and take them over. Whereas since Islam's shorter, he's kind of at the hips. Now, that could also mean he's there for knees, but I think it's going to be easier for Islam to take up Islam, or Islam's very good at baiting out a knee for you to knee him, and then as you knee him, he'll take you up that leg and flip you over. YouTube, I think Alexander, if you just type in Alexander Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev 1, the fight probably may be on YouTube. King Car France. It's a really good fight. Yeah, should be there, UFC, YouTube. Okay, I'll be back. Sam Patterson versus NBC. No, King Car France. Don't watch MVP. Sam Patterson, don't. No. What did you do, Cade Gleason? What did you do? No. Why would you do that, dude? Why would you do that? Do you know what you just did? You sentenced him to 15 minutes of boredom. I'm going with Gillian Robertson by decision over McKenzie Dern, by the way. I'm just letting y'all know. UFC Dana White started boxing but don't do wrestling, so he introduced where people do anything but not kicking balls or eyes. That's it. MMA. Also, same from Asia. People don't wrestle. That's it. Thank you, Manny Marion. Ian Garry wins by cuck chair. That's true. You look like you'd be 6'5". Thank you, IDK. I will not be standing up to prove or deny that. Lol, I think he's watching that fight. See, I told you I know about Cade Gleason. That's probably the worst thing you could have done ever. Make somebody watch through 50 minutes of MVP Sam Patterson. That's possibly the worst thing ever done. I don't know if the person who Xavier, was that the guy who asked me to make a perfect fighter? 10-7 was 10-7. I'm just gonna say Peter Yan cardio mocked Marab in the rematch. I'm just gonna let you know, dude. I'm just gonna let you know, dude. And you can't make me think otherwise. How tall are you? I'm 6 foot on a good day. Probably 6 foot. 5'11", 6 foot. It depends. Guessing 5'3". Okay. Manny Moran. Getting this close, pal. This close, dude. We beefing? Are we beefing? Okay. First stream I've made, we're beefing, dude. 265, can you stand up? I can't, dude. I can't. I'd have to redo my camera. 265 pounds. Okay. So we're just disrespectful now. We're disrespectful. Okay, dude. Yeah. Hey, Manny Miranda. It's on site, dude. I see you in real life, dude. We're getting it. Let's break down Makhachev resume. Armin Volk 2. Makhachev McCoy on short notice. Dustin retired. Next fight washed. Went close against Volk, who's featherweight. Charles and JDM good win. Garry resume locate better. It is technically. Like the Dustin fight is really like it's crazy to me that Dustin was really like he was really putting the works on Islam. Dustin was putting the works at like 80 years old. In a fake clip, he was putting the works on Islam. I'd say a flat 100 pounds. Thank you, IDK. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. My head alone may weigh 100 pounds. That's how big my head is. I'm not a pea head. I'm not a pea head like Dustin or Ian Garry. So I possibly, alone, my head could probably weigh 100 pounds. It's a big honker, dude. It's a big honker. Big head. But yeah, Garry, the Dustin was putting the works on Islam, and then the Volkanovski first fight, he was getting beat up by a guy who was smaller. It's very Islam's resume is very strange, but it is a 70-fight win streak. He got Armin, and Armin was very young. Volk 2 was a wash, so it doesn't matter. Garry could have a denser frame and be a problem, but he's vegan. He literally is throwing away the crazy genetics that he has. He is throwing away crazy genetics because he's vegan. Like I don't know, dude. He's throwing away UFC gold. I thought he stopped being a vegan though in the UFC. Or wasn't there a UFC fighter who said was vegan and tried to become vegan, and then they're like, I can't do it. I need protein to fight. I forgot who. I feel like that's a story though. But he's throwing away his crazy genetics. Just so you know, I'm leaving in 5 minutes. I've been live for 2 hours, and it's 2 a.m. for me. It's 2 in the morning, and I need to make this prediction video tomorrow. Resume for resume, Makhachev nowhere near GOAT status. To be fair, that is true. He doesn't, but it's the win streak, though. It's the win streak. It is a 16, almost now 17 fight win streak. It's hard to beat that. That is just hard to beat. You know? But if you think about it, the Bobby Green win, he got a title shot off of Bobby Green. But to be fair, Bobby Green's not that bad of a win now. You know? Charles Oliveira is a very good win. Charles Oliveira was a very good win. 1 more hour? No! Do you go live every day? I've started to. Last week I really skimped off because my college classes start up this week. So now I'm really trying to get back into it. I'm a lot more productive when I have my classes because I'm already up and at them. So last week I was very lazy over summer. All right, here's your player comp at each weight: Kavanaugh, Yan, Garcia, Hooker, Brady, Pfeiffer, Iwo, Spivak. Bro, that poor kid is watching 15 minutes. I can't do 1 more hour IDK. It's 2 in the morning. Same pattern resume like Khabib's, but low key not Islam's fault though. It is what it is. It is true. Khabib, he was taking care of plumbers early doors. I think Khabib would be less annoying if he didn't people didn't bring up 29-0. Like the crazy graphics where it's like 100 or like 80 something. So more videos. I will be posting a video tomorrow of my predictions. And I'll probably be doing a video tomorrow as well, going over how Carlos Ulberg is a coward because he's not vacating his belt. Carlos Ulberg is a coward. Yuri Prochazka vacated his belt after he got injured. Jamal Hill vacated his belt after he got injured. And now Carlos Ulberg is just saying, no, I'm not going to vacate my belt, even though I'm injured. Coward, dude. Coward. You gotta wait till the little kid comes back. They teach him not to get hit or hit his brother. It would be, but to be fair, Cade Gleason, it'd be so funny if after 15 minutes of go live for Makhachev card, we'll watch along while I touch myself watching you and Dern. Well, I normally go live for Fight Companions, but that alone makes me not want to. IDK, if you just want to, go and watch some of my previous videos while I'm sleeping. You know? You know what I'm saying? Go back and hammer up those video views, dude. I have some good ones. You can watch my really early videos where I don't even have a microphone and I'm talking to just my laptop. This guy really believes that was a kid, lol. What do you mean? The King Car France guy? Bro, what's your name? By the numbers, dude. Can you not see the description? It's by the numbers, dude. I might have to. Hey, man, I'd appreciate it, dude. If you, again, I will be live tomorrow. I will be posting my predictions video tomorrow, and I will be posting the Carlos Ulberg is a coward video tomorrow. So a lot of stuff tomorrow. Manny Marion, kid is the metaphor, just like Gable Steveson when he had his hiccup. So Manny Marion, were you just pretending to be a spaz? Were you just pretending to be a spaz? I mean, real name? I can't give away that information. I can't call people gay and have my real name out there, or else I get fired. King Car France, speak of the devil. I hope you understand Gillian. I work for Walmart, so if I say some stuff that's not good, and I have my name out there, it's not good. I had to put in 2 times speed after the first round. Go search up Gable Steveson when you off stream. Okay, I don't want to know what I'm going to learn. The loophole for what fight? Why didn't they try to fight? That was a new rule. There was Sam Patterson MVP. There was a pre-made rule called no more punching. So 1 more hour, right? No. We have 30 seconds left before I'm gone. I appreciate there is a KO in 3rd round. No, Cade Gleason. Don't lie. Don't lie. I appreciate everybody coming out. 245 views on this live stream. I appreciate that. I'm going to be live streaming more. Like I said, prediction videos out tomorrow. Carlos Olberg is a coward is out tomorrow. I'm gonna be yelling at Carlos Olberg. Last guy the guy was on the round. You look like the milkman. Okay, that's a good place to end the stream. Appreciate you all watching. Appreciate you all chatting. Had a fun time. Hope to see y'all tomorrow.